Welcome to the house that Bud built.
Where Barry made his mark.
Where Bob continues to roll.
Welcome to the home where Superman lives. $142 All-Americans.
Game winning streak.
40 conference titles.
Count them. 7 national championships.
There's only one.
Only one.
One Oklahoma.
This is Oklahoma football.
Campus of the University of Oklahoma, a quiet scene throughout the week, not unlike most universities around the country, but watch out come game day. The Sooner fans know how to party and how to get ready to watch their third-ranked team. Welcome to College Football Saturday from Oklahoma's Gaylord family Memorial Stadium. Today, the number 3 ranked Sooners of Oklahoma face the Aggies of Utah State. Welcome, everyone. Bill Land along with Dean Blevins. Glad to have you with us here today. The Sooners ranked number 3, 2-0. A couple of blowouts, Dean. Hard not to get on their bandwagon. They're playing mighty strong.
Well, I think, Bill, after the Boise State stunning loss in the bowl game, people were wanting to get that out of their systems and to move forward. And Bob Stoops is so optimistic about clubs. He was really excited about this one, and the people could feel it if the quarterback was going to come through.
Well, that if was answered in week 1, and then with a resounding yes in week 2 with the win over Miami. Sam Bradford sensation.
Well, look at these numbers here, 40 of 48, so he's had 8 incompletions. Far right, he's had 8 touchdowns and no interceptions. He's far exceeded anyone's expectations. Bill, he's a natural leader. He's a terrific athlete. He's been very, very accurate with the football. He has all the weapons in front of him, specifically in front of him, the offensive line. But here you look at Malcolm Kelly, who can do that, and then he can do this as well. And that tandem's pretty mean.
And not only does he have Kelly, he has a host of receivers to go to with different abilities.
Joaquin Iglesias might be a little bit underappreciated. He's a possession receiver. Gresham is only 6'6" and 266 pounds. And Malcolm Kelly is as good a receiver as there is in America.
All right, that's the throwing and catching game. How about the running game? They got a bevy of backs. No Adrian Peterson, but a guy by the name of DeMarco Murray, a youngster's got people just buzzing around here.
Well, he might be the 3rd on the depth chart right now, but that doesn't mean that he's not the guy that has people more excited than anyone, because he is really more of a sprinter. He's a guy who came in highly touted, and he's a guy who is a home run threat, which fans love.
Utah State, the opponent, 0-2, a little deceiving. They led both games in the 4th quarter. They have a quarterback who literally does it all in Leon Jackson III.
Well, Leon Jackson's a guy that can do a little bit of everything, a lefty there. Here you see his numbers not bad at all. He can punt it as well, but he has to lead this club. He's put too much on his shoulders, and in a game like this, he cannot do that.
And they got a guy in the backfield, Curtis Marsh, a dual threat.
Yeah, he can run it, he can catch it. He's going against the defense, though, that has allowed only 1 yard per rush.
Yeah, tough day here for the Aggies when you talk about that Oklahoma defense. And with more on the Sooners D, here's Emily Jones.
Well, guys, Utah State is averaging 115 yards per game on the ground through 2 games this season, but rushing yards will not be easy to come by against this Oklahoma defense, which comes into this game ranked 6th in the country in that category. Thanks in large part to the OU linebacking core, the Sooners are giving up just 33.5 rushing yards per game. The threesome of Lewis Baker, Curtis Lofton, and Ryan Reynolds have accounted for 38 tackles, 6 of which have been for a loss, and 1 sack. And in the middle of it all is the junior Lofton. He's got 16 tackles of his own, 10 of which are solo. The OU defense looking to continue its dominance today and run the Sooners' record to a perfect 3-0 on the young season against a Utah State Aggies team that's still looking for the win column in 2007. It's a beautiful day for football here in Norman, Oklahoma. We've got the kickoff between the third-ranked Sooners and the Utah State Aggies when we come back.
The Oklahoma Sooners taking the field here at Memorial Stadium. Bill Land, Dean Blevins, Emily Jones with you as the Sooners rank number 3 in the nation, an impressive 2-0 with convincing wins over Miami last week, 51-13, and a throttling of North Texas in the opener, 79-10. The Aggies of Utah State at 0-2, losing to Wyoming 32-18. They led in the fourth quarter 18-17 though, and they fell in their opener to Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, beating the Aggies 23-16. Another game that the Ags led in the fourth quarter but could not hang on. Glad to have you with us here on just an absolute picture-perfect day for football. Utah State has won the toss, choosing to receive, and Oklahoma will defend the south goal. And Utah State has got to be a little concerned, Dean, coming in here as Bob Stoops got his club ready. Bob Stoops got to be a little concerned with such a big win last week. Is everybody up and ready to go this week?
Well, I mean, they've been a good staff in terms of getting people up or keeping them on the same level. He likes to say even keel. But, you know, emotions are going to vary week to week. You never are going to play at that same level of emotion. And this would certainly be the game that you would dip. The opener, you want to be out there to prove what you can do. And then the second game, huge against Miami.
And a guy that Oklahoma folks are familiar with, Brent Guy, who played at Oklahoma State, assistant coach there in 2 different stops. His 3rd year at Utah State, 4-1. A difficult job. No one is disagreeing with that. Thinks he's making progress, even though it's not shown by the 1-loss ledger after going 3-8 in his opening year, 1-11 last year. But his team statistically is light years ahead of where they've been.
Well, and the people around that program say that despite the fact they're 0-2, of course they did lead going into those fourth quarters, so they could have done better than the 0-2, but there's more optimism and excitement surrounding the program.
Well, as Hartley gets ready to tee it up here, Garrett is off to a terrific start and grows a candidate as far as awards for kickers. Utah State will have deep number 6, who is an outstanding performer and a veteran receiver as well as kick returner, and Aaron LeSueur, one of their tailbacks, number 1, also deep. And Hartley, they'll bring it out. And tackled shy of the 20-yard line is Aaron LeSueur, the senior from Fallon, Nevada. And Utah State will operate 1st and 10, just shy of the 20-yard line. The Aggies with their quarterback, Leon Jackson III, leading them out. He's a senior from Long Beach Poly. He's completing passes at a rate of 68% for 284 yards. There's a look at his background, his 17th career start. He is 3rd all-time in completion percentage at Utah State at 56%. They run a ball control type offense with offensive coordinator Darrell Dickey, formerly the North Texas head coach. This one is out on the flat and complete to Robinson. He is stopped near the 23-yard line by Marcus Walker, the corner for the University of Oklahoma. 77 degrees, wind out of the south at 4 today as we take a look at the offensive line. Sean Murphy, the son of the baseball great Dale Murphy. They've got size. Hoke is 6'9", and Jorgensen is 335 pounds. The backs and the receivers, we told you a little bit about LeSueur and Robinson, Atkinson, Nelson, and Fausel, the other big playmaker as far as a tight end, usually in the blocking formation. 2nd down and 7. The ball at the 22 of the Aggies of Utah State. Robinson, the man in motion. And the carry, not much doing, maybe back to the line of scrimmage as Ryan Reynolds was there to meet the ball carrier.
Ryan Reynolds, we talked about DeMarco Murray off the top. Here you see the Oklahoma defense, Bill.
And these guys, they're good, they're strong, they're deep. English, Bennett, McCoy, the crew. You got Baker, Lofton, Ryan Reynolds, who just made that play, has been outstanding. And the secondary, many think as good as any in the country. Reggie Smith returned a fumble for a score last week. 3rd and 7 for Utah State. And again, complete to Robinson. He is stopped at the 23, and a punting situation, which means that quarterback Jackson will also kick. Lofton and Reynolds made the stop.
But what I was going to mention about Ryan Reynolds, despite the fact that he's from Las Vegas, where DeMarco Murray is, they came in together. But the other thing is that this is a club that tackles extremely well. You probably saw Marcus Walker break down, great tackle on the first play. Second play, Ryan Reynolds, and there the other linebacker, number 40, Lofton, and that's why they are able to stop people on a lot of third down conversions.
It's 4th and 6th here. Jackson averaging 47 yards a kick among the national leaders. He gets a favorable roll as the deep man Reggie Smith stays away from it, and Oklahoma wins the first battle of field position as they'll get the football for the first time at the 35-yard line of OU. And leading them out, redshirt freshman Sam Bradford, after a 42-yard punt, will have him taken over 1st and 10 at the 35, and his numbers are just absolutely mind-boggling. The first week he was 21 of 23. That led him to that number there at the bottom about leading the nation in passing efficiency, because last week against Miami he was 19 of 25. And it's 1st and 10 at the 35 for the Sooners. Play action, and Bradford rolls out. Kelly on the sideline got it just shy of the first down, a pickup of 9, it appears, as we'll take a look at the rest of that Oklahoma offensive unit. The offensive line has been so solid, and you talk about size, load hold at 6'8", 350 pounds. Robinson, Cooper's had an outstanding start, Walker, Trent Williams. And the backs and receivers, Alan Patrick got back last week to work. We've seen a lot already in our pregame comments about some of those wideouts. And here's Kelly, stiff arms the defender, got the first down as he makes it to midfield. He was shaking off Marquise Charles, the corner for the Aggies.
That's going to mess the numbers up of Kelly. You know, he's caught 8 balls and 5 for touchdowns. So
only 27.5 yards per catch. He's probably going, wait a minute, that messes everything up. The numbers are just absolutely amazing as Kelly tied for the NCAA lead with touchdowns scored, and as Steve mentioned, 5 TDs on only 8 receptions. Now 9. We'll make it 10, I guess, for the first 2 here.
Confusion, timeout wasted. Brandon Braxton, 76, playing right tackle.
We'll take a brief break as well as Bob Stoops will talk it over with his troops. No score, just underway. No score, Oklahoma's first possession. We'll take a look at the Utah State defense that comes in allowing 27.5 points per contest. The Aggies last year giving up 38, a much improved bunch. Calderwood is their leader. He was a #2 all-conference pick last year in the WAC. Take a look at the backers there, Hall among their best. And here is Oklahoma again lining it up. Iglesias with the reception, and he takes it to the Utah State 35-yard line, and Davon Hall made the tackle.
Adrian Tennell with a terrific block out front. That's been the thing that the Oklahoma receivers have done a great job of this year. You might see it right in front of you. Good block, mostly getting in the way, but still the defender completely out of the way.
And a quick look at the secondary for the Aggies. Murphy, Brindley, Taylor, and Taylor. And yes, they are twins. Replay, flag is thrown. And the Sooners trying to take advantage of it. Iglesias to the 10. He strolls into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma. We'll check the flag. So it stands, and Utah State's worst nightmare comes true.
Well, you know, most of the time when you have an offside on the opponent, you have a free play, and you think a quarterback's going to go ahead and throw it deep. But on this play, it was a little razzle-dazzle, double reverse. Bradford out in front gets his man, and gosh, this is the way you draw it up on a blackboard.
35-yard TD trot for Iglesias, and here is Hartley for the point after attempt. He is 17 of 18 through the first 2 ball games. Takes care of business here. He tied a school record going 11 of 11 in the opener against North Texas. And the Sooners with a 7-0 lead after their first possession. Welcome back to University of Oklahoma, Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium, as the Sooners jump out to a 7-0 lead. And the scoring drive, if you want to call it that, how about that? 4 plays, quickly 65 yards, and an average, you know, that I guess Kelly would say, well, that's even below my average, but that's still pretty good production.
Well, that's Iglesias is the 10th Oklahoma Sooner to score this year. That's amazing through 3 games, and it's also a first possession score for the 3rd consecutive game, similar to 2000 national championship season that I can remember building. They used to score on the first possession all the time, and they didn't have injuries, and they haven't had them so far this year.
What a way to set a tone. Oh my, talking about a tone setter. What a hit by Lewis Baker that time, as Baker leveled Aaron LeSueur of the Utah State Aggies.
Lewis Baker is one of the best special teams players that's been in Oklahoma for many, many years. He is a sprinter. He's not heavy, but he is stout. Listen. Those are the kind of hits that the team loves when they get together to watch the replays. That'll grade out pretty well.
Well, they talk about moving the kickoff to the 30, and it creates more collisions, and we certainly don't wish injuries, but it is fun to watch those big hits. And 1st and 10, and the Aggies will again keep it on the ground. Curtis Lofton makes the tackle on the play as Curtis Marsh gets the carry, the freshman out of Simi Valley, California. He originally went to Naval Academy Prep School and then signed in December, so he had the advantage of spring football, but he's a true freshman at Utah State.
He's kind of the big play guy, and then they'll pound it inside with LeSueur.
See the Aggies trailing the series 3-0. That even dates back to, I think, your era, Mr. Blevins.
It might be the black and white television.
You put a hurting on him in your day here. This pass is complete to Atkinson, and he has the first down. Move the chains out across the 32-yard line.
There's some of that athleticism from Leon Jackson. That is not an easy ball to throw. He isn't turned up a great deal, but you really want to be. He's moving more side to side, and the receiver is not completely open, so that took some talent.
Jackson is a guy that they think will adapt well to what Daryl Dickey is trying to run, and they'll have a lot of different packages, use a lot of different players and formations, try to tone that aggressive OU defense down. And the ball on the ground this time, and Marsh finds a seam. He picks up 5 or 6 across the 35 to nearly the 38-yard line.
I'll tell you what, if Wolf hadn't have made that tackle, let him catch the right leg, and if he doesn't catch this tackle right here, I mean, that could have gone for a long distance, if not the whole way.
And for the Aggies now, well, 2nd and reasonable, and that's one thing Daryl Dickey and Brent Guy were telling us is that, hey, we've got to pick up that 4 or 5 yards on first down to have some options in our offense. OU's defense has just been throttling people. LeSueur getting a measure of that here is out to the 40-yard line. Nick Harris making the tackle.
Misdirection plays and plays where a runner will actually cut back against a speedy Oklahoma defense is what has hurt them a little bit this year. They haven't been damaged too much, but that has been a little bit of a problem. But this is 3rd and short because of that first down pickup you mentioned.
Well, that Miami game, the Sooners that looked tight for a while, 21-13, and then they get 30 unanswered to just dominate a Miami team that we don't know how good they are, but certainly much better talent than what they'd seen the week before against North Texas. Jackson, the keeper, diving for the first down marker. See where they spot the football very close as Baker was on the chase.
I don't think they're going to give it to him. That looked really close, and if it's not a first down, it's only because of the speed, again, of Lewis Baker, the linebacker. Now, he only weighs about 210, 215. They couldn't get him to game weight. They had him drinking every shake, eating ice cream, doing everything he could to gain weight, and he just couldn't do it. Looked like this was marked a little bit shy. I think Brent Guy is going to play it close to the vest today and try to extend this game, and not a surprise here that even though it's just inches that he decides to punt.
And you do have to be careful on the Oklahoma side, because when the quarterback is the punter, you show something a little funky, they're certainly not afraid to take advantage of it. And Jackson's boot to Smith, and he fields it on the fair catch at the 20-yard line, and that's where Oklahoma will get possession with its 7-0 Sooners, thanks to an Iglesias 35-yard TD try. Oklahoma with a 7-0 lead, and the Sooners getting the football back, this time on their 20-yard line after the opening possession. Aggies have a little success offensively, and now the Sooners will have to drive 80 yards. That was not a problem on their first possession, as they went 65 very quickly in less than a minute. Sam Bradford, the quarterback. Patrick, the tailback, and he'll get his first toe. Alan Patrick missed the opener with a sprained ankle. Came back last week, picked up 47 yards on 7 carries. Brindley made the tackle from a strong safety spot.
Well, the offensive line has been terrific for Oklahoma. This time the box is not loaded, so Bradford goes with the run, and that's big. That's a big hole. Patrick is terrific as an inside runner, able to pick his way, but also not afraid of contact.
2nd down and 2. Kelly and Iglesias wide right for Oklahoma. Iglesias, Kelly trying to get a block on the defender, shoved him right into Iglesias, and a loss on the play for Oklahoma.
That would have been a lateral anyway, and I was looking for a receiver to go downfield. There was no one to go back there. This was a play that probably should have been checked out of. Sooners have run this type of play so much, but, you know, actually Kelly misses that block, but I don't think it mattered, Bill.
Nice play by Davon Hall, who made the stop there for the Aggies, and it makes it a 3rd and 8 situation for Oklahoma. The Sooners this year, 57% on 3rd down conversions through the first 2 ball games. See what they do here on a 3rd and 8. Patrick in the backfield alongside Bradford now goes out. And Bradford for Iglesias. He's got it at the 30-yard line. Brindley made the tackle.
Bradford's accuracy is uncanny. I mean, there were so many question marks about this kid coming in before the season started. And that's an NFL pass there.
48 yards on the pass play, and Bradford continues to just absolutely play about as well as you could ask for a guy's first experience at this level.
Like against Miami, he had pressure coming a few times. That one he knew was coming, but still he was able to hang in there and throw it.
Patrick, power game. Bulls across the 30 down to the 27. Dean played the position of quarterback. What impresses you most about Bradford, considering his lack of experience?
Well, I think it's his calmness. He is a type B personality. I've always said that type A personalities, you don't see those guys as being great quarterbacks. He's a type B personality, very calm. His teammates really like him. And by being calm and by being a 4-point student both in high school and college, he's very smart and able to process and make good decisions.
2nd down and 7 for Oklahoma. Bradford fake to the flat. Kelly puts 6 more on the board. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Taylor trying to make the tackle, but Malcolm Kelly gets his 6th touchdown in this, just the 3rd game.
Boy, this is a post, a corner post, and a great move on the outside. There was space, but again, what a terrific throw from Bradford. Bradford's done a great job of finding the man-to-man coverage, and when he finds it, he goes straight to number 4.
Bradford's 9th TD toss of the year. Hartley, 2 of 2 today in the PAT department. And Oklahoma, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, 14-0, 6:47 to go first.
All right, watch number 4 right out here. He's going to take it right down here. He was going to take it to the corner and then a post. It's a great thrown ball, or excuse me, it's a great route. But then watch what the quarterback does. It has to go both ways. Terrific route, throw, catch. And no incompletions, I believe, again for Bradford, who set a school record by completing 22 consecutive games, adding, I think, 18 from the first game and the first 4 of the second.
Let's send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you were talking about what impresses you about Sam Bradford. We asked offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson that very question, and he said, you know what, Sam's not only intelligent, he's got a quick mind. He's used to competitive situations. He played AAU basketball this summer. He's a great athlete. However, they did not know how he would react in game situations when the pressure was actually on. I would say now at 9 touchdowns and no interceptions later, they're feeling pretty good about the way he's reacted.
5 of 5 for 105 in the score. Thank you, Emily. And Sam Bradford and the Sooners living up to that high billing of that number 3 national ranking. And they'll kick it off again. LeSway comes up, takes it on about the 6. Straight forward across the 20 to near the 23-yard line, and that's where the Aggies will get it on this 1st and 10 on their 3rd possession of the day.
Utah State did a nice job on their last possession of picking up the first down, getting the long punt, pinning Oklahoma back inside the 20, and gaining that field position that we mentioned that Brent Guy was trying to establish. He was looking for turnovers, looking to establish some offense, move the chain some, and then play field position. So far, there have not been any turnovers to work his way. And even though they've had a decent field position, Oklahoma has just run it right back at them.
1st and 10 at the 23. Robinson comes in motion. They hand it off to Marsh. Not much doing. And Dean, you would think if there's a time when a team's going to quickly get out of its game plan, Utah State might hit that here instead of saying, hey, it's 14-0. We still got to do what we do, right?
Yeah, I don't think that they will do that because of Daryl Dickey's had some experience. That's a good block right there. That's a terrific block up front. Spencer Johnson getting a guy who's played extremely well for Oklahoma, Austin English, number 33.
Johnson is a redshirt freshman, 6'5", 283 out of Lancaster, California. 2nd down and 8. With a block like that, you only pick up 2 yards. Just tells you how stout that Oklahoma defense is. And a timeout as Leon Jackson III, the Aggie quarterback, wants to talk it over. We'll keep it right here with Oklahoma in control. The Sooners at 2-0 and headed up the Turnpike to play Tulsa next week. And obviously they weren't overlooking this one here today. You know, let's take we love to throw in flashbacks, see if this is black and white or color. It's still color. It's my partner today, Dean Blevins, at the quarterback position. How much fun was it to pitch it to Billy Sims?
Well, about as much fun as it was to pitch it to Joe Washington and to a couple of others.
Steve Rhodes, is that who that is on the reception?
I believe so.
Yeah,
you bet.
Those were fun days. And Elvis Peacock.
Yeah, Elvis, one of the I wouldn't say the first of the really big, really fast backs, because Billy Vessel's back here was a big, strong guy who could really fly, but Elvis was special.
You don't ever tire of looking at those highlights, do you?
No, I need to get a copy of that pass.
Well, you brought the DVD to the truck today. I mean, what are you talking about? We're just taking care of business here.
Some people will believe that.
2nd down and 8 here for Utah State now. Jackson to Robinson. And he squirms his way across near the 30-yard line where Corey Bennett is there. And even on that play, and it looked like it developed pretty good, Dean, but OU's pursuit was terrific.
Well, that's what the difference is in a really good defense and a great defense. You think about some of the USC defenses, Oklahoma defenses, Miami defenses under Jimmy Johnson. There could be a play that looked like it was going to go for huge yardage, but yet it would be stopped for 10 yards. And that's what Oklahoma does defensively now.
Robinson goes wide left. Now comes back behind the quarterback, has it on the pitch in the back, and that did not work. English was there, among others, and a loss on the play for the Aggies of Utah State.
That one looked better than it turned out. Oklahoma had a sense of what was going on, but really more than anything, it stayed at home. And Austin English is a guy with a fast motor. He was a high school track star, and he really has burst on the scene. He's a good-sized guy from Canadian Texas with a really quick first step. He can disrupt the run, and just all around, he's a solid player.
Sophomore has done an outstanding job starting off the season. Speaking of outstanding, how about this boot from Jackson? And Smith fields it on the 22 and backpedaling, in trouble still, and the Aggies get out of a hole with a great punt from Leon Jackson III. Goodness gracious, Oklahoma will have the football and have to earn it again as a 51-yard punt, -2 on the return.
You got to like quarterbacks who stay on the field and punt. You don't see that very
rarity,
much,
isn't it?
Yeah.
How about Bradford? Goodness, what a day. There's Bradford, redshirt freshman from Putnam City North High School in the Oklahoma City area, and his counterpart, Jackson, has not had that kind of success, but thank goodness he's got a good leg for the Aggies. And Oklahoma handing it off and spinning. This is Murray. He's at the 40, 45, and down to the 40-yard line, make it the 38 of the Aggies. Singleton or the Murphy making the tackle for Utah State.
Well, this is just a great example of being able to pick your hole on the inside, to have great balance. Does a pirouette the way Adrian Peterson did a couple of times in his career, and he'll be kicking himself as this play will be called back.
On the offense, number 72, a 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That is George Duke Robinson nullifying a 43-yard return or the play, and they'll bring it all the way back inside the 10-yard line now. Wow.
Well, that's a killer play. Maybe not necessarily in this game, but you can't have that, and certainly Marco Murray won't like that because that's probably the best run he's had. But Oklahoma has such a distinct advantage in terms of size. We'll give you those numbers in a minute.
Eldridge sets up on the left, and OU comes right back to the running game, and the Sooners need to get to the 29 for the first down, and Hall makes the tackle on that play.
Sooners offensive line does a good job moving down the line, opening a seam as once again the running back cuts back, and the Sooners up front, talking about the size, 6'4.5", 311, Bill, is the average size of the Oklahoma starters.
Chris Brown getting his first carry of the day on that play, and Oklahoma comes right back to Brown. Brown motors across the 35, first down at the 36-yard line, and Brown, sophomore out of Alexandria, Louisiana, was suspended for the season opener. His first action last week, 42 yards against Miami.
Bob Stoops tells me that he thinks this guy could start for almost anyone, and he thinks he's as good as he has in his backfield. And you can see the secondary having to make all the tackles for the Aggies, and that's never good.
Sooners are out of that hole now. And Bradford wants to go to the air again. Wide open Iglesias, midfield. Move the chains again to the 49 of Utah State, as Joaquin Iglesias, a junior out of Killeen, Texas, scored earlier. He's tackled by Jake Hutton, the Aggie captain at middle linebacker. 15 yards on the pickup. What a beautiful day for football here. 77 degrees at kickoff. The cool front came through the other night, and just gorgeous. First and 10 at the 49, looking pretty for Oklahoma as well. Play action as Bradford. Again to Finley, and Joe John Finley picks it to the 31-yard line of Utah State. The senior out of Arlington, Texas, gets his third reception of the season. Murphy and Hutton to tackle.
Joe John Finley flexed out, almost a wide receiver himself, one of the three Oklahoma tight ends who plays a lot. That's not an easy throw right there. Sooners doing a great job with their tight ends. Some of these throws aren't easy. That's 7 for 7 for Bradford, who already has 138 yards in the air.
You mentioned he went 18 straight to end the North Texas game. The first 4 completed to start the Miami game to set a new Oklahoma record that was set by Jason White. Flag thrown here. Now he starts off on fire in this game as well. You know, some people nationally have thrown out Heisman in Bradford's name. Is that even fair at this point?
Oh, no.
As good as he's been?
Offside on the defense, number 46. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
I mean, I don't know that we should be talking about anyone for Heisman. I remember 10, 15 years ago, Bill, you and I were doing a show many years ago, and we were griping about the fact that, you know, after halfway through the season, they were bringing up this Heisman deal. Well, maybe that tells you how long it's been since we've been together. But now they're talking about it, you know, in the summer. No, I mean, 2 games. A terrific-looking player, but 2 games.
Let him play.
Yeah.
Following the penalty, 1st and 5 for the Sooners at the 26. Bradford, great protection once again. He finds Iglesias. No place to dance this time, though. And he is stopped after picking up a couple at the 22-yard line. And we'll send it down to Emily.
And out in a crowd like that, but one guy does. Phil Lodeholt, who is 6'8", 350 pounds. He is the tallest football player on record at OU, so it's hard to stand out amongst that group, but Phil Lodeholt does a pretty good job. Not a bad name to go along with that physical description, huh?
Seems to fit. Thanks, Emily. As Murray carries to the 20 and has the first down. Now, that weight she gave, was that before the pregame meal?
This guy is kind of amazing. Good look at him there. Look how slim he looks. He does not look like, gosh, what position would you put him at? Maybe a defensive end when you see a guy like that. And 352, 6'8".
Yes, he is a load and not a lot of fat on him. First and 10 at the 20.
Good feet on him, too.
Bradford being chased. Scampers out of bounds. Singleton had him on the run for the Aggies. Singleton with 8 tackles so far this season.
Bill, you got to really respect Bradford's decision making. I mean, this is only a pickup of, well, they're going to mark it at about 5 or 6 yards, but his receiver's not open. Great coverage downfield. But instead of forcing the ball or throwing just simply an incompletion, he picks up to 5 or 6 and puts it in a great position for a play caller.
And as we get inside a minute to the first quarter, 215 yards of offense for Oklahoma. Wow. And Brown, with a flag being thrown, moves it to the 11-yard line. Chris Brown, the ball carrier. Clock stops at 47 seconds.
Position for a holding call where that flag went down.
Paul Igboli had made the tackle for the Aggies.
Holding on the offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Dean, Oklahoma's averaged 7.5 penalties for 55 yards the first 2 games. That might be one of the few things that I guess any coach would say, hey, we can get better at, huh?
Well, and the running backs, and I guess one wide receiver put it on the ground. They put it on the ground 3 times, and Stoops and Cale Gundy, the running backs coach, they've done a great job of protecting the football throughout the years. So that would be the other thing.
So it makes it 2nd and 15 from the 25-yard line. Kelly and Johnson wide left for Bradford. He looks that way, comes back to Murray, and the screen had no chance to develop as the Aggies sniffed that out well, and he is tackled at the 27-yard line. Igboli leading the way for Utah State. Utah State offensively has averaged 257 yards. Defensively, they've been giving up 341. That's not too bad, though.
No, Mark Johnson has him in a pretty solid position. And, you know, Brent Guy, it's the end of the first quarter. We'll talk a little bit more about their defense. And Brent Guy is a defensive guy, so he brings that mentality to the Aggies.
Well, Oklahoma and Bob Stoops got to be pleased overall. It's a 14-0 lead after the first quarter here in Norman. The Sooners firmly in control and trying to march toward a 3rd score. We'll be right back with more.
Welcome Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. The third-ranked Sooners on top of Utah State, 14-0 at the end of one. Pleased to be joined by the men's basketball coach here at Oklahoma, Jeff Capel, your second season. How are things going?
Things are going great. Our team took a preseason trip to Canada, had a great trip, won 4 games over there, great bonding experience for us.
The Big 12 is tough enough as it is, but your non-conference schedule is pretty stout as well. You got USC rather in there, Gonzaga, I think, West Virginia. You guys are making it easy on yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, don't add Carolina. We don't want them either. But we do have a very challenging schedule, but we think it will help us get prepared for Big 12 play.
You talked about the exhibition tournament in Vancouver. You had a couple freshmen lead the way, Blake Griffin, Cade Davis. Just talk about the addition of those 2 guys to your team.
Well, we're really excited about our young guys. Blake averaged 19 and 10 over there. Obviously really talented, one of the highest ranked guys to join the Sooner program in a while. Cade Davis, we think, is going to be a very good player for us. We're excited about them, and we're also really excited about our returning guys coming back.
I know a lot of guys, or a lot of people are wondering also, too, about the status of a couple of your guards, Austin Johnson and Tony Crocker. How are they?
They're great. They're back working out now. We could have taken them, and we could have taken AJ and played him over in Canada, but just as a precautionary, we chose not to. Touchdown for the Sooners. All right.
Well, you think you're going to be able, is your team going to be able to average as many points as the football team? That might be the question.
I hope so. We couldn't last year. Hopefully we can. Our football team is great. I think we're going to be playing in late January.
Coach Capel, best of luck. I mean, maybe we need to do an interview with you every quarter. Right? Sooners appreciate your time, guys. Send it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Emily. You could do one with every possession, and you'll get burned with a touchdown. As Oklahoma, once again, the length of the field, and Bradford is 11 of 11 for 167 yards. That time he connected back-to-back plays with Joe John Finley for the touchdown. And the Sooners start the second quarter the way they started the game, with an opening possession and a score, and it's now 21-0 Oklahoma. Another strike for Bradford.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. It is now 21-0 with just now 28 seconds left, 28 seconds passed rather in the second quarter. Now joined by women's head coach Sherry Cole. Coach Cole, how are things going for you so far? Getting ready for the season?
Good so far, particularly well when our football team starts off like this.
Absolutely. You guys always have it tough in the Big 12, but you're not starting any easier in the non-conference, starting things off with Maryland and Tennessee. The strategy there?
We just thought we'd find out a little bit about our young team. We'll have no seniors this year. We play both games on neutral floors, but still back-to-back respective national champions.
You do bring back Courtney Paris. Everyone knows what she can do. How big is her role this year, especially since you don't have any seniors?
Well, it's huge, obviously. I mean, Courtney is inarguably the best player in America. Just as she's playing with the Olympic team right now, and she is definitely the anchor for what we do. Everything we do goes through her and around her. So her leadership will be called upon definitely this season with no seniors.
How do you think the Olympic team will help her in that regard?
Oh, I think it's already helped her in her perspective, the way she views herself. I think it helps her be a better teammate. She's always been the lead guy, and now she's trying to make the Olympic team, and it helps her understand maybe her teammates a little bit better. And I think it expands the versatility of her game as well.
Speaking of leadership, you're about to begin a 2-year term, or have already begun a 2-year term as the president of the Coaches Association. What are you hoping to get accomplished there?
Woo! I don't know what I did to deserve that. No, it's been wonderful so far. It really has. To be involved with some of the great minds in the game and to be able to impact the future of our game. And I really think it's a very special time to be involved with women's basketball.
Sherry Cole, best of luck this season. We appreciate your time today. All right, guys, send it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Emily. And thanks to Coach Cole, as Chase McCormick is the new quarterback for the Aggies. Their possession starting on the 30-yard line following the kick return. Chase out of Layton, Utah. He's 6'1", 190, a sophomore. And he is 23 years old, returned from a mission, redshirted in 05, did not get on the field in 06. So we'll see what he's got to offer here. 2nd and 8. Robinson behind it. McCormick looking for help, lofts it, and it is incomplete. Intended for Otis Nelson, the wideout, junior from West Valley City, Utah.
Good pressure. Ryan Reynolds getting in on Jace McCormick, who was trying to get him a little playing time. Don't believe Jackson went down to any injury. (240-31). That's all that needs to be said.
Impressive. 3rd down and 8. And Oklahoma comes through with the blitz and the loss on the play. As the Sooners, Ryan Reynolds, I don't think anybody touched the sophomore from Las Vegas.
Now, there was a bust by the Aggies, and Reynolds goes in untouched. And he is such a sure tackler that if you don't get a helmet on him, he's going to make you pay for it.
2nd sack of the season for Reynolds.
The guy's a 5-time national judo champion. So I don't know what all skills you have to have in doing that, but you have to have more than Bill and I have right now.
Reggie Smith, the high catch, and then the tackle at the 33, maybe 34-yard line. That's where Oklahoma will take over with it all OU, 21-0 here in Norman. Oklahoma 21, Utah State 0. Bill Land, Dee Blevins, Emily Jones with you here in Norman as the Sooners have it 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Alan Patrick, the tailback, the shotgun next to Sam Bradford. Hands it off to Patrick here. Escapes one tackler. Got something out of nothing that time as he pushes it out to the 39-yard line where Caleb Taylor, the free safety, made the stop.
You know, you can call this bad tackling, but it might be just good running, because that's what's happened to almost everyone who's tried to tackle this guy for now a couple of years. Because, Bill, you remember when Adrian Peterson went down last time? Yeah, look at the Trent Williams is perhaps the most athletic up there of the guys in the offensive line.
2nd and 5. And again, Patrick, speed, then power. Your point about when Peterson went down last year on Patrick coming in?
Well, you know, a lot of people think that there was not much of a letdown at all. I mean, who can't respect what Adrian Peterson did? But at the same time, you've got to appreciate what this guy did. Now, the offensive line, again, you have to appreciate what they're doing. I mean, Trent Williams, that's 2 plays in a row, number 71. You can't grade out any higher than that. So Oklahoma has about 8 or 9 offensive linemen that keep rotating in because their depth is just tremendous up front.
Patrick last year, 761 yards rushing in that role behind Peterson, and then replacing him when he was hurt. Bradford again throwing. Oh my goodness, what happened? An incompletion. Oklahoma fans' blood pressure will go up. I didn't hear him booing, did you?
Well, yeah, well, that's happened too.
Get that other guy in there.
Yeah, but, you know, he threw it where he could get away with throwing it, but others have been absolutely perfect. That one to Iglesias. This is another one for a touchdown to Kelly. So they haven't been all just completely easy throws.
That time Murphy had a little pressure on him. It's 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Patrick. Cross to the 48 of Utah State.
Kevin Wilson, I think, is doing a terrific job this year of play calling as the offensive coordinator. I mean, it's easy to do when you have the weapons that he has, but if I could see my monitor, I'd circle him for you. He has a little mustache, and he's kind of a right guy on the left. Okay, there he is. We've got some sun coming in up here, but he's doing a terrific job.
Yeah, and done a great job of keeping Bradford in the right spot. This one deflected and then picked off by Utah State, so they get a break as the interception is made by Roy Hurst, a junior from Oakland, California, gets his first pick of the season, and the Aggies, with the turnover, get the football back. And Bradford's first interception of his career.
Josh Heupel there talking to the quarterback as he comes off, telling him what he shouldn't have done, and that's one of the first times he could tell a guy what he shouldn't have done, but he kind of forces this one, or really more than forces it, it's a poor throw.
So we'll see now what the Aggies do with it, having some good field position as well at the 41-yard line of Utah State. McCormick again, the quarterback. Fakes the handoff. Upended near midfield, shy of the first down, but give him 9 yards on the carry for Jace McCormick, stopped by Lindy Holmes.
I like what Utah State has in their package. They're out-athleted, but well, you see right there, Austin English, number 33, bit on that one, and there was huge daylight for the quarterback.
Well, as you take a look at Utah State coaches on the sideline, one of the things that Brent Guy liked about Daryl Dickey was he said, we've got similar philosophies offensively. They knew each other, having played against each other when Daryl was at K-State, rather when Daryl was at K-State and Guy at Oklahoma State. This time, Fisher better get out of the way as the ball carriers tackle after getting the first down, English making the tackle. But as you know, Dean, so important, they also had a guy as your offensive coordinator who's been a head coach.
Yeah, exactly. Quarterback doing a nice job right here. McCormick, he knows he has second and short. That's a great play calling situation, but he didn't want to take the sack. He tucks it under and picks up the first.
First and 10 at the 46 of OU. Turbin in the backfield, and ball carrier Marsh is stopped at the 44-yard line as Curtis Lofton makes the stop.
They've got something nice going right here. Daryl Dickey is a guy who grew up in Normanville as a youngster. Ended up playing at Kansas State, has a brother, Jimmy Dickey, that I played ball with in Norman High School, and his father, Jim, coached at Oklahoma, defensive back 69 to 72. But Daryl was down at Denton for quite a few years.
2nd and 8. McCormick completes it. Out across the 30, down to the 25-yard line. And one of the better looking plays for Utah State today.
This is a terrific drive for Utah State. As watch up top and what will develop up there. These are not busts.
Terrell Richards with the reception. Picks up 20 yards.
Yeah, I said that wasn't a bust, but I think it might have been.
There's Daryl Dickey up in the box, the former UNT coach, as well as the son of Jim Dickey, who used to be an assistant coach here at Oklahoma, and as well as the head coach at Kansas State.
Timeout. Utah State.
The Aggies call the timeout here with 8:57 to go in this first half, trailing 21-0. We'll take a brief break with them. We'll be right back here in Norman.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners on top 21-0 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. And I'm here with a very, very special group of kids. It's part of the Special Spectators program. And these 4 kids are patients, and they got a chance to take in a nice Oklahoma game. And this is Dylan, right? Dylan, what have you gotten to do today that's extra special?
We got to go to Squash 2 room, and we got to go to the locker room, and we had to we ate, and we
I heard you guys got to wear a piece of Bob Stoops jewelry. Is this true?
Yes.
What was it?
It was his championship ring.
You got to wear his national championship ring?
Yes.
I have to admit, I'm pretty jealous. That's pretty cool. Well, you guys must be very good luck for the Sooners today, because they are winning 21-0 with you guys cheering them on. Guys, they haven't had the best of luck with their help, but they are definitely good luck for OU today.
Well, they've hardly needed it, although I'm sure they appreciate their participation. Thanks, Emily. As Oklahoma, now the defense being challenged a bit on the best drive of the day by Utah State. It came after the interception. Ryan Reynolds makes the tackle here, and it'll be a 3rd and long. We'll see where they spot the football.
Brent Venables a little hot under the collar during that timeout. He's got his people playing a little more passionate, but a lot of trap option, a lot of motion, a couple of scramble plays. Daryl Dickey and his quarterback have things working well.
Drive start on the 41 after the interception. Utah State 41, 3rd and 8 at the 22 of Oklahoma now. McCormick in trouble. Got away from one, not a second time. A flag is thrown.
It's gonna be a face mask, doesn't it?
I would think so, and that's what McCormick is indicating. Taylor making the tackle. Adrian, a redshirt freshman from Mansfield, Texas, there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We'll let him sort it out.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 86. After this, the goal line, automatic first down.
To see, Dean, if it happened after he had him the first time, I don't know if he reached then as the player McCormick started to get away from him or not.
Well, that's a big play for Utah State. Puts them certainly in a almost cinched field goal position.
1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. And Marsh carries to near the 7-yard line. Curtis Marsh stopped by Harris and Lofton.
Straight up the gut. Sooners stiffening a little bit. You can hear the head rattling way up here.
Also heard the fans getting nervous. Shut out. Wait a minute. Can't lose this. It has been so dominating. But Utah State a chance to try to get on the board here. 2nd and 6 from the 7 out of the shotgun, and McCormick looking for anything, and nothing but a wall of crimson and cream coming at him. Led by English, Austin English.
You know, I know that they have kind of had Oklahoma off balance here with their play calling, but watch number 33 at the defensive end position. You really aren't going to run around him, and he's strong enough to work through blockers. In other words, he's going to be a heck of a player. You can tell he is young. He's a sophomore out of Canadian, but he has big-time tools.
They lost 6, and it's now 3rd and 12 from the 13 for Utah State. McCormick, little pump fake. Jump ball, and Reggie Smith knocked it away from the intended receiver, Nnamdi Gwacham. Harris also there. And a flag is thrown. Nick Harris making the play.
Holding on the offense, number 63. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Yeah, I don't know that letting them have the play over really does you much good, because still in pretty good field position, or excuse me, field goal range, and leaving open the possibility of a big play. Nick Harris, though, number 5, who broke up that play, is a terrific football player. 6'3", 236 junior. He's all-star caliber.
Peter Caldwell, you say 3 of 4 on the season, sets up at the 20 for a 30-yarder. Jackson the holder. The kick is good, and Utah State takes advantage of the turnover. This started after the first interception that Bradford has thrown for Oklahoma, and Taylor with the pick, and then the Aggies end up getting 3 out of it. It's 21-3.
Nice little birthday gift there for Caldwell as he turns 19 today.
10 plays, 46 yards, stalls for the field goal. Let's send it down to Emily Jones.
There is a parade of OU head coaches on the sidelines. Here is another one, Patty Gasso, the head softball coach. Coach, you had one of your most successful seasons in school history, 55-8. You finished in the top 10, but I understand you were disappointed.
Slightly. I was very proud of the team. I think we overexcelled. I don't think anyone thought we would end up where we did, but we were #1 for 4 weeks. But what does that get you in the end if you're not at the College World Series? So that's where we were disappointed, but very proud of our efforts and our record and winning a Big 12 tournament, and just very proud of what we put out there last year.
And you've got 3 All-Americans coming back from last year's team. How exciting is that? I know you've begun practices as well.
Yeah. It's been great, exciting, new blood. Yet I have good leaders coming back, very talented athletes. So I think we'll be as good, if not better, than we were last year. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Coach. Best of luck this season. We do appreciate it. And congratulations on a great year last year. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Emily. Reggie Smith takes the kick return out to the 31-yard line, and Oklahoma will operate there. A return of 29 yards. Dean, we haven't really talked a lot about Oklahoma's special teams, but with the kicking of Hartley and then their return game, both punt and kickoff, That's another big edge this team has.
Well, Iglesias, particularly running back kickoffs, has been really good. Reggie Smith came in last year and even the year before as a phenomenal return guy. He really hasn't been what he was when he came in since then, you know, but overall they are outstanding, and speed is the answer in virtually every category on special teams.
Patrick showing his speed here. Watch out! Can they catch him? 30. They will not. Alan Patrick to the house. 69 yards.
Well, I started to say that I think Oklahoma is going to run the football this possession and go score. I think that was correct, but I sure didn't anticipate a hole like this opening up and on one play going the distance, and Patrick didn't have to do a bunch except make the last tackler avoid him.
Longest run of his career for Patrick, 69 yards and a TD, and that'll bump that average up a little bit on the day as you look at 6 for 98. And Patrick coming in and averaging 6.7 a carry. So you do the math. It's beyond us, beyond most people. You try to figure the numbers of this Oklahoma team. Hartley's kick is again good. And so Utah State says, all right, we get an interception. Hey, we got on the board. Now let's go and see if we get the ball back. Well, you do, but you didn't want to do it that way.
Well, again, here's a look at the blocking, and we've mentioned a couple of times that that's as good as you could draw up on a blackboard, and that one is. By the time you get to the second and the third quarter, particularly the fourth, if other teams don't have a lot of depth, and Utah State doesn't, the Sooners just wear them down. And I don't care if Oklahoma's playing one of the better teams in the country. Generally, they have more depth than other teams. And I think maybe so this year more than any that I can recall, Bill.
And the other thing about that, Bob Stoops will tell you that this team prepares well. They've really been attentive. And when you have that old coach's saying of competition for position, which they do in just about every position, it gets players to avoid that letdown because they know if they don't play particularly well, somebody's going to jump right in there and take their place. And, you know, Alan Patrick, no one was doubting his ankle hurting. He said he was fine for the opener team. But when you see DeMarco Murray get 5 touchdowns in his first game in a Sooner uniform, your ankle's really ready to go, right?
Good point.
Oklahoma will kick it off as Hartley. Robinson at the 7. Dives to near the 25-yard line. And that is where Utah State will get its next possession. Take a look at this number. You talk about you got to be successful on first down. Oklahoma on first down today, 208 yards, 14 plays. That is just phenomenal. Everything's going to work after that.
327 total first half yards. I know the Aggies did not defend well last year. They had hopes of defending better, and I think they will as the season goes on, but they're getting licked right now.
Last year they gave up 436 a game. This year at 341 through the first 2, but UNLV and Wyoming are not Oklahoma, as John Williams lets the quarterback know again here.
John Williams, a guy that has been really impressive and just hanging in there at Oklahoma. He's out of Houston. He's kind of a bookend with Dotson out of Houston, but he is a cousin of a lot of great athletes. Derek Johnson, formerly down at Texas, Michael Johnson, the sprinter, and many more. It's in his bloodlines.
2nd and 12 at the 23-yard line for the Aggies with 5:17 to go in this second quarter. And LeSueur couldn't sway out of the way as he is stopped for a loss on the play, and Curtis Lofton and Lindy Holmes are there.
Do you think that Brent Venables had anything to do with the emotion that the Oklahoma defense is playing with on this series versus the last?
Yeah, I would think so. And defensive coordinators, well, we see it all ways. Are they in the booth or are they on the sidelines? In his case, it fits this team for him to be down there.
And it fits his personality. Yeah. I'd hate to see him up in the booth.
Take the windows out. 3rd down and 12. And it's complete to Robinson. Way short of the first down, though, out near the 26-yard line, and a punting situation for the Aggies of Utah State as Ryan Reynolds is there on the play.
Was Brent in the press box with Mike Stoops for a Kansas State game that was a really big one as they were winding it down at Kansas State before coming to Oklahoma?
I think I've heard some of that stuff.
Yeah, and I remember Mike.
And if anybody knows Mike Stoops, type A personality.
Great guy, great coach.
Down, 9, and Shanks it. It goes out of bounds on the OU sideline. I'm going to mark it at the 48 of the Aggies. So, and 22-yard kick if that stands. As you look at Brent Guy.
Don't you play golf left-handed? I think I remember that.
I swing left-handed. I don't know if you want to call play is what you describe my performance on the course. Are we already at that level here in the second quarter?
No, I was just thinking the last time we played, you had a little trouble with those pitch outs. I think it was a shank left or two. That was like a 5-iron shank from the left-footed kicker.
That's why that word comes to mind so freely with me, you know. 1st and 10 at the 48. Brown, and it was whistled down before he lost the football. I knew we brought out the old video of Dean, the Bill Lamb golf would then follow. It's shot for shot here. 3:36 and counting. Oklahoma with the ball here, and very solid performance, I think you'd have to say, in this first half for the Sooners. As they lead at 28-3, out yardage them 327 to 58 at this point. It's 2nd and 8 now. Play action as Bradford rolls left, and Kelly. Dean, you mentioned his hands. Is there a better example of just anywhere within a range?
Yeah.
He's going to grab it.
And his body language, both catching the football and then afterwards, certainly not a cocky kid whatsoever. He is one of the all-time great kids, but it is just so natural for him. He just drops the ball and comes back to the huddle. Well, there was enough zip on this to keep it from going the other way.
And it moves the chains. 1st and 10 at the 37, Oklahoma. Brown. Good hard tackle that made defensively that time by Utah State.
Bill, don't you get the sense that Utah State, I mean, they've given up the home run ball, but, I mean, they have done some good things defensively.
Yeah, I mean,
you look up there and you see 338 yards. It seems strange to say that.
You can see hope for the Aggies out of this, going against one of the nation's best teams. 2nd and 10. And out of bounds. We'll mark it where the 30, a little short of the first down as Zaslaw, the receiver. Dane, a senior from Edmond, Oklahoma, had his first career touchdown against Miami.
Zaslaw coming out of the backfield, and it's a check down because that's an easy throw and should have been a first down, but still it's 3rd and short, and it'll be 4-down position. Matt Clapp, as good a fullback as they have, is being redshirted. He should come back next year and be the guy.
3rd and 2. Bradford trying to lay it out there, and just a little too much that time as he's trying to connect with Eldridge. Brody nearly had it.
That was there for the taking. Maybe he got his tight ends confused, and it wasn't Gresham, who's the 6'6" and has a spurt. That's a rare miss by Bradford, but a lot of quarterbacks, when they miss a pass, would just love to have it that close. But that was one that the Sooners let get away.
Josh Heupel, outstanding quarterback in his own right. His day here now coaching him, and it is 4th and 2. 13 of 16 is what Bradford is on the day. Throws it again here and complete for the first down, and Oklahoma moves the chains. Iglesias quickly steps out of bounds with 1:49 remaining.
You know, I think it's a sign of a great offense that you can just make some things look so easy. A lot of teams can get in a 4th and 2, and in this position they would actually kick a field goal, attempt a field goal, but Oklahoma doesn't hesitate. Certainly in this situation they don't hesitate, but they make it look so comfortable.
1st and 10 at the 23. They'd like to milk that clock all the way here. Iglesias comes back to get the football, dances on the sideline before stepping out, picked up a few more yards inside the 15-yard line. Joaquin Iglesias opened the season with 7 receptions for 128 yards, got his first TD of the season on the first possession here today.
Well, Iglesias, as you can see, is a well-built guy, 6 feet 202, only a junior. High school, he was really good in everything, including track, but you can tell he is a strong athlete.
Oklahoma 2nd down and 1 to go. Bradford just off the fingertips of Finn.
It's pretty well defended. The only place that you could throw it for your man to reach it was in that area. It could have been completed, but that was well defended.
Bradford and Finley, don't turn your back even if you're security. Hopefully everybody all right. 3rd and 1 now at the 14. Clock stopped on the incompletion, 1:37 to go.
Marco Murray may be licking his chops right here.
Upended at the 12 or 13-yard line. Taylor making the tackle. The score for you, Dean. Iowa State beat Iowa today.
Oh, really?
15-13. Who'd have thunk that? After Iowa State getting thumped by Northern Iowa. Who else was it that beat them before that? And they beat Iowa today. It was in Ames.
Hey, the Big 12.
That's right. Big 12.
It down.
Putting it on the Big 10. 1st and 10 here for Oklahoma, and Bradford is brought down on the play as the clock's still moving, and a timeout will be called here by Oklahoma.
2nd sack of the season, as this is just good overall defense. I think that was a load hold at the top of your screen being beaten. Bradford didn't quite feel it in time, and he goes down.
Calderwood, the 2nd team all-conference pick out of the WAC last year. We had 44 tackles. From Smithfield, Utah, Skyview High School. Oh, the Big 12 licking its wounds, and Iowa State helping after Oklahoma State getting pounded last night down at Troy. And certainly has them scratching their heads as they've got Texas Tech coming to Stillwater for the conference opener next weekend. Here it's Oklahoma taking care of business and trying to tack on another TD with 1:10 to go in the half, leading 28-3, 2nd down and 15 to go. Kelly wide left. Bradford found him. Touchdown, Kelly, making it look so easy. Malcolm Kelly gets the TD, his 2nd of the day, his 7th of the season.
Well, I hate to say I told you so, but I was pointing out to you that man coverage, and you just can't do that. You've got to have some help from the safety. But Oklahoma occupies the safety with an underneath route, and that is beautiful execution. Bradford missing on a couple of throws he wishes he had back, but that one more than making up for it.
Bradford gets his 3rd touchdown pass of the afternoon with 1:05 to go. Hartley, kick is up and good. And the Sooners make it a 35-3 ball game here with 1:05 to go.
Talking about blackboard sessions, protection, no one within 4 yards of the quarterback, and Kelly just turns around the defender, and that is it'll be a lot tougher next year if he goes next year to the NFL or the year after. The coverage will be a lot tighter than that, and probably a lot tighter down in the Cotton Bowl, but nonetheless, great execution by the Sooners on offense.
Kelly's 7th touchdown of the season as Oklahoma 11 plays, 48 yards, capping off that drive with a TD pass. And Bradford 16 of 19, 6 of those to Kelly. Bradford's thrown for 216, 3 scores and 1 interception so far. Utah State back for the kickoff here with 1:05 to go in the half. Bill Land, Dean Blevins, Emily Jones with you as the Sooners in control of this one as they were expected to do. But when you see scores that we were just talking about a moment ago, you don't take anything for granted. And a team that once again so far has shown they're ready to play on a day when you thought they may overlook them for a bit, but they have not. And LeSueur to the 30, 40, dives out of bounds, and at the 47-yard line. Nice return by Aaron LeSueur, captain.
Pardon me, Bill, but watch Hartley here. Is looks like he's going to walk away okay, but this one he kicks low. He's had a little bit of I think he's had a little bit of a groin problem, and not only did he hurt himself on the kick, but then he has to come over and cover.
At least slow things up there.
Now that won't be good for the Sooners, who rely on him for a lot, and that was really terrible coverage by Oklahoma, who lost contain.
Well, we'll see what the Aggies come up with. McCormick somehow found a hole for a few yards, and boy, did he pay for it. The football's loose, and Oklahoma's got it.
Boy, there was a hit by number 40, Lofton, who hits about as hard as anyone in college football.
And Alonzo Dotson then recovered the football. Dotson, the senior from Houston, took advantage of the big hit from Lofton.
Play disrupted at the line of scrimmage, and the collision is huge.
Look at Dotson. Look what came into my lap.
I think that will stay with Utah State.
All right, they're going to rule it down. They're huddling down there right now.
Oklahoma may get it, but I don't know that the return will count.
Play in a review.
48 yards, 11 plays, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers.
Hard to see when the ball pops up. There's maybe a better angle. See Reynolds is number 8 going in. His helmet may have been part of that. And then Dotson is right in his lap.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a fumble and recovery by Oklahoma. First down.
All right, OU gets it back. Dean, what do? 47 seconds to go, up 35-3. This is the part that coaches don't want to have to plan for, but you do have to plan for when you've got an opponent thumped. Let's listen back to this play a second first, though.
Brent Guy would tell you you go for a score because in the Cotton Bowl you may have this.
That's right. And OU look in that direction. It's overthrown. Intended for Kelly. Good coverage back there that time. Bradford had just hooked up with it.
I don't know if he didn't see Kelly, if he saw the safety come over from the other side and thought that he might be in position for it, or if it was just a bad throw, but it might have been one that he threw long on purpose, thinking that if Kelly could get it, great, but if no one was going to get it, that would be fine too, because the clock stopped in second down.
Second and 10, 41 seconds to go. Ball at the 48 of the Sooners. Finley sets up on the left now. Bradford got hammered, but got it off in time, and Iglesias will move it for a first down to the 34-yard line of Utah State on the reception. Bradford stood tall with a defender coming right at him.
He has a stronger arm than a lot of people felt. It's hit from the backside. Watch him pop back up, though. He does a good job of that, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage because the clock is about to start. Poor throw there.
That hit was by Davon Hall, and now the incompletion. Bradford trying to go to Kelly again. And it'll be second down at 10 with the clock stopped and 28 seconds now remaining in this first half.
Now, Bill, to expound on my thought there about what Brent would say is you go get it. First of all, it's 35-3, and you're in the first half. I say unless it's 80, you know, an 80-point difference in the first half, you still go get it. But you've got to let your guys play. They've worked too hard for these situations.
Bradford. And again, complete. First down, I believe so. We'll see where they mark it. Near the 25-yard line. Looks like to be a little shy. Iglesias again on the reception. Joshua Taylor covering.
Boy, this was just a great reception from Iglesias. A nice route here. And he keeps that left foot inbounds, and you got to go back to the quarterback, though. Great job of moving his feet, buying some time. And his body doesn't always, he keeps his body in such a great position because of being a great athlete. He makes it look so natural.
Oklahoma 401 yards of offense now. Brown cuts right through and goes down to the 15, and that'll be a first down. 15 seconds on the clock as they move the chains.
Bradford will hustle them up so they will not waste a timeout here. If he doesn't get it in pretty soon, he's going to have to down the ball and not waste the timeout. Clock is running, down it. That's what you should do in that situation.
They're still looking, and now the timeout is called by Oklahoma. He lost 7 seconds.
There's why you do it, Bill.
Yep.
You know, why do you have the team go in and try to score instead of downing the ball? Well, that's a mistake. Yep. And you learn through mistakes.
Say that, all right, if this happens a few weeks from now down in Dallas,
right,
you don't lose those 7 seconds because you've been here before.
That wasn't Bradford. That wasn't the offense's fault. It looked like it was the play call not getting in from up top.
Yeah, because they had time with the chains being moved and the clock being stopped momentarily to get that in, and obviously didn't want to have to burn that timeout.
That's why being a play caller is not that easy. You always have to be at least one play ahead of yourself. If you're going to run the football, you really have to know your options.
So Oklahoma now with no timeouts. 1st and 10. That's not the issue. 8 seconds remaining is.
It's got to go in the end zone.
Kelly and Johnson wide left. Bradford coming back to the right and incomplete. And I got 3 seconds left as Hartley will come on for a field goal attempt. So Utah State, after the turnover, at least stiffens here to not allow the touchdown.
Be a chance to see if Hartley is healthy from that last kickoff where it looked like he was strained a little.
1 of 1, a 30-yard field goal on his only other attempt this season. And this one right around 32. No problem with that kick. And his reaction seems to be okay as Oklahoma picks up 3 more on the final play of the first half on Hartley's field goal, and it's 38-3 Oklahoma at the half here in Norman. The Sooners, very impressive. Certainly some things to talk about, but overall, how do you argue with a 412-yard performance and 38 points? Let's go down to Emily Jones with Coach Stoops.
Points. You pleased with their performance so far?
I am. You know, we take care of the football. That's a big factor. We had the 1 interception that was tipped, but they are. We're running and throwing it well.
Defensively, only allowing a field goal. What improvements can they make?
Well, not allow a field goal. We had the 1 driver. They got good field position off the turnover, but you know, we gave a few plays, but they're playing well. It's been pretty solid.
All right, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. Bill, it looks like the Sooners are well on their way to eclipsing the 50-point mark for the 3rd straight week. We'll see how they play in the second half. Back up to you.
Well, they're averaging 65, so they have work to do. But it's 38-3 with the Sooners on top here at the half in a convincing way over Utah State. To Gaylord family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, where the Sooners lead it comfortably, 38-3 over the Aggies from Utah State. Bill Land along with Dean Blevins. And how would you grade this performance?
Well, you know, based on the first 2 games, you look at it and you're kind of disappointed because they had the turnover and, you know, you give up a field goal that you don't expect to give up. But at the same time, Bill, I mean, what are the expectations? You know, that's the thing you have to keep in mind around a place like this. It was outstanding. It was outstanding, and Bradford missed a few passes, but he's human, and you don't hand a guy a Heisman just yet. So, okay?
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights. They did it running and throwing, and it started with a little deception.
Well, Oklahoma comes out and goes 65 yards on 4 plays, and this was quick. They had a free play coming because of offsides from Utah State, but Iglesias got into the end zone quite easy.
And then the passing game to Kelly, the first of his 2 scores.
That made it 14, and then they come back on an 81-yard drive, 10 plays, 21 yards, terrific passing, and this is when the streak was going on, and this guy, Alan Patrick, takes it the distance. This was after the field goal from Utah State, and the Sooners came back and didn't want it to take long.
And then again through the air, and again to Malcolm Kelly. And Oklahoma with a field goal tacked on, leading it 38-3. The yardage you see there that is circled, 412 to 62. Bradford's passing percentage, completion percentage has dropped today as he's gone from 83.3 to 80.6%. That's what kind of things you're dealing with. You talk about expectations, because you also had an interception for the first time this year.
Well, I don't know how long Bradford and some of the other frontline players would play here in this ball game. I think that Oklahoma would like to extend this score out, go out and play a clean third quarter, and maybe even before that quarter's out, maybe we will see Nickel, the true freshman, get in. Halsley's the other quarterback, and maybe some other players on the team. But I think that they would like to make sure these guys are fresh because they play next Friday night in Tulsa.
And Utah State would obviously want to see a stop to that, see if they can get things going in the second half. We'll be back with that when we come back here in Norman. Oklahoma leading 38-3.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in our coverage on FSN.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners on top of Utah State 38-3 with 9:45 to play in the third quarter. Our tour of OU head coaches continues with the volleyball coach, Santiago Restrepo. How'd I do?
Yes, that was perfect.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of, you guys were darn near perfect last season. 2 years ago, this team had only 7 wins. Last year, only 6 losses. A pretty incredible turnaround for this program.
That is definitely incredible, and that's a tribute to the dedication and the work ethic that our volleyball players have.
You guys are off to a great start again this year, 9-2, including a win this morning over Kansas and a win last week at Texas A&M, who is ranked number 25 in the country. What do you like about this year's team?
Oh, I love this year's team. I think the chemistry is great. We have 8 new players in and 8 returners. And we have a program called the Big Sister, Little Sisters, and they're all taking care of each other's mind. They're doing a great job so far.
And only 2 starters back from last year, so you're getting it done with you.
Yes, only 2 starters, you know, but we have also a lot of experience, okay, and done a pretty good job from last year's team.
Okay, now you can join Jeff Capel as good luck charms, because Jeff Capel, I was interviewing him earlier. Sooners scored a touchdown now. They scored a touchdown when you're talking. You and Jeff Capel, good luck for the Sooners, I guess.
That's the good luck charm that we have.
All right, guys, we'll do another interview a little bit later, and we'll see if the Sooners score again.
All right, thank you, Emily. 92 yards for DeMarco Murray, and unbelievable. This guy, this is why people are so excited. Didn't you said home run threat?
Well, you know, he has the home run threat ability. He has track speed. He's up to 205. He's gained about 20 pounds since he got here. He's now carried it 4 times for 100 yards. And Bill, he was also, some people say he was one of the top 30 high school basketball players in the country.
Yeah, no, outstanding basketball talent. And Hartley comes on for the point after. It is good. And Oklahoma, with 8:59 to go in the third quarter, now on top 45-3. Murray with a 92-yarder. Oklahoma 45-3 after the 3rd longest run in school history, a 92-yarder from DeMarco Murray. And Oklahoma with 541 yards of offense, 286 running, 255 passing, and they'll kick it off to the Aggies of Utah State. And you know, the Aggies, they get that quick kick, you pin Oklahoma down, you say, all right, stop them here, we'll get the ball back near midfield, finally play a little field position. Murray just gives you a weapon that there's not much defense for. Take a look at that play in a minute. Robinson on the return at the 20, turning it. And he is wrestled out of bounds on the 30-yard line. Let's take a look at this touchdown, and you can almost see where it was going, Dean.
Well, Oklahoma has a 3 tight end set that they bring in quite a bit, and watch them just mush them here. But you got to look at the offensive line as well. They do their job, and DeMarco Murray does a nice job in cutting back right here, and he'll cut it back to his left and put on the afterburners because it looked like he was going to be run down. But you got to give total credit to that offensive line.
I could have gone through that hole. Now, I couldn't have finished the run, but I could have gone through the hole.
Yeah, it's an 11-yard run. That's right.
Here's DeMarco's been timed at 4.43 in the 40. Also a 41-inch vertical jump. A tremendous athlete. Pass play here on the first down offering and complete to Xavier Bowman, sophomore from Houston, and a penalty is thrown, penalty flag.
I think we're going to have offensive holding, but Oklahoma not covering as well in the second half here, or late second and early
Holding,
third.
holding on the offense, number 56, 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
84,403, the official attendance here today at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Brent Guy discusses that one with the official. And it'll be a 1st and 20 for the Aggies.
Oklahoma in their nickel look, number 11, who was covering there. Lindy Holmes is the 5th defensive back. Darian Williams, 41, playing safety.
And complete, and out of bounds is Nelson. Smith stopping him. Pick up a few, it'll be still 2nd and long.
Good job getting the ball out there very quickly. Reggie Smith closes on this very fast. Reggie came in and some people questioned whether he was going to be physical enough to play corner. Well, Deion Sanders wasn't the most physical guy in the world, but he has really become a nice, aggressive defensive back. A cover corner par excellence, and that time he closed very well and didn't give up much. It's a 2nd and 14.
From the 27-yard line for the Aggies. They've got 60 rushing, passing, and 25 rushing is all they've totaled here today. This one out to the 30-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 10. Lofton makes the tackle for Oklahoma.
You know, one of the reasons that Oklahoma plays so well defensively is we have a better job than you do sitting at home of watching how these players are coached. But defensively, these guys are coached on every play, every grouping is. And Brent Venables coaches this game like it's the Texas game, like it's any game. It doesn't matter if it's Utah State or any other game. They're all the same to him.
3rd and 11 for Leon Jackson III out of the gun. They come after him, and he completes it to Nelson, who is close to a 1st down and should have it just past the 41-yard line. So Nelson, and a flag is thrown. Nelson had not made a reception coming in here.
Oklahoma lucky.
Yep.
10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Tell you what, Bobby Jack Wright is going to have some tape to show his guys. Brent Guy discussed it that wipes away some field position is one of his thoughts because that's what he was trying to do today. Obviously, that helps in trying to run some clock here. But anyway, Marcus Walker was not in position to make the tackle quickly, Bill, and to force a punt.
Bobby Jack. 3rd and 21, though. Penalty, huge, obviously, is instead of 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Now you got that Oklahoma defense gearing up, and the crowd will probably raise it a bit too. 3 wideouts to the right side for Jackson on 3rd and 21 from the 20. And completes this one to the 32 and diving out of bounds. Omar Sawyer, a sophomore from Ogden, Utah, on the reception. And another penalty flag.
Boy, Brent Guy will go nuts if this goes against Utah State, and I think it will again.
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul. number 17 to the offense. It'll be 15 yards from the end of the run, 4th down.
Well, that is Bowman.
Yeah, that is so frustrating because you get yourself out of the hole. Still didn't pick up the 1st down, but still get yourself out of the hole, and then the penalty, and now you have to punt anyway.
As the Yankees, they're looking forward, and they go home to meet Utah for their San Jose State next week, and then they go on the road at Utah, at Hawaii, and Hawaii, a top 25 team. So got a heavy road schedule to start their season. I want to carry some type of momentum. Here is Smith on the return from the 48. And Reggie across the 40 to the 39-yard line for Oklahoma. Great field position for the Sooners after the punt from Jackson. Oklahoma with a 45-3 lead, 7:27 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Sam Bradford apparently is done for the day as Bradford on the sidelines after another superlative performance, 19 of 26, 255, 3 scores, his 1st interception of the season. And that means Keith Nickel, a freshman from Lowell, Michigan, comes on with Oklahoma 1st and 10 on the 39. Hands it off to Patrick. And Alan Patrick brought down near the 33, 34-yard line.
Starting to say that this is a great opportunity for Nickel because you want to go in with the 1st team. And you want to have good field position, but then I saw the flag come out, and you kind of lose that. But a lot of it is about, I mean, it is in life. It's about opportunity, right place, right time. And Nickel, the true freshman, highly touted coming in last spring. That's so important, Bill, as the 2nd guy coming in to be put in a position to succeed.
Nickel did not play last week, did against North Texas, threw one, ran one, and a guy that people have talked a lot about his talent abilities, gives him a chance to showcase him a little bit here. Hands off to Brown on a 1st and 20. Chris is tripped up about the 47-yard line, so 2nd and long now coming up for Oklahoma. Derek Cumby, junior linebacker from Andrews, South Carolina, made the tackle.
Keith Nickel has a ton of promise. He's 6'2", 204. He's a true freshman from Lowell, Michigan, where he was the 2-time Michigan Player of the Year, a late commit to Oklahoma.
Grisham moves, sets to the right side now. Nickel fires it to Cheney, and he muscles his way near the 35-yard line. Quentin Cheney. He is a 6'4", 213-pounder out of Tulsa from Booker T. Washington.
Nickel is the best runner, and he has the strongest arm, and he has tremendous upside. So, you say all that, and then there's Bradford, who is Heisman in that area, but, who is just a terrific player. But here's a guy that, has a lot of skill.
3rd and 7 for the Sooners. Nickel going deep. Incomplete. Nearly had it. As it went very well covered, but certainly a catchable ball for Garrett Botham.
Garrett did not quite turn on the afterburners because that looked to be a perfectly thrown ball.
Here currently in field goal formation for the Sooners.
Well, that was a perfectly thrown ball.
The wicket says Hartley will set up now. The line of scrimmage is the 31. So near a 48-yard field goal attempt. And then
This will be a 53,
53, I beg your pardon. As he sets up on the 43-yard line. 53-yard attempt by Hartley. And with that leg, it is good. Garrett Hartley from South Lake, Texas, 53-yarder. That is a career best. His previous best was 52 a couple of years ago.
Hartley's kickballs over 60 yards in scrimmages this year in driving rain, and he's gained 25 pounds from when he came in. He's at 205 and not real tall, about 5'8", but a very, very strong leg, which obviously looks healthy right now.
All right, as Hartley gets pats on the back for that career best 53-yarder, send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, I think the streak's going to be broken as far as head coaches being interviewed when the Sooners score a touchdown, unless something miraculous happened. But we are joined by Mark Williams, the head men's gymnastics coach here at Oklahoma, and also Jonathan Horton. And we'll start with you, Coach. 7 national championships this team has won. What are you looking for coming up in this 08 season?
Well, Jonathan Horton's one of the best gymnasts in the country right now, just coming off the World Championships where he's 4th in the all-around. So I think he can lead us to another national championship this year.
No pressure, right, Jonathan? It seems like you're well on your way to earning a spot on the Olympic team. What was the process like? I know you just got back from Germany, as Coach mentioned, competing in the World Championships, and how forward are you looking to the Olympics?
You know, the Olympics is something that, you know, I've always dreamed about going to, and you know, the process and the training and everything is, you know, every day. So, you know, you have to be very motivated mentally and physically, and, you know, it's tough every day, but you have to, you know, it's nice to be pushed by your team, by your coach, and, you know, it's great to be here at OU competing, and, you know, there's nothing greater to help somebody make it, you know, to the Olympics and make that dream come true.
And Coach, I know that Oklahoma, obviously well known for football, they've packed the stadium here, but I know you have a very large following, and it's also good to see how supportive head coaches and the entire OU community is of all the sports.
Right, it's almost like a family. The athletic department is very close, and, you know, we put pressure on each other to do well. You know, if softball wins a championship, you know, we want to go out and follow in their footsteps and do well as well. So, you know, nothing better than the football program to set a great tradition that we need to follow.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck and good luck in the 08 season. Jonathan, good luck, and we'll be looking for you at the Olympics.
Thank you.
All right, guys, send it back up to you.
Thanks, Emily, and best of luck to all of the athletes and coaches Emily's had the opportunity to talk to today. A great group here at the University of Oklahoma. Utah State down by 45 with 5:35 to go in the third, and 2nd and 10. The situation from their own 20-yard line. Ron Jackson the third. And takes it forward across the 24.
Now that's the kind of play that usually busts for a big play, because it was unless it was a really strangely designed play by Daryl Dickey, that was a bust. Watch the quarterback.
Yeah.
He doesn't panic. He's got no one to fake it to or hand it to, so he holds on, sees a hole up the middle, and still 3rd and 6.
I think it worked because he didn't panic, and it's almost like, what's that? The defense almost stopped, like, we didn't hand it to anybody.
Here's Darryl.
Well, and he's got a couple of youngsters out there, redshirt freshman Dervin Spite, as well as Robert Turbin, a freshman, both in that backfield with him. So there was a little bit of confusion. Brent Guy let him talk it over here on before a 3rd and 6 play. And
you know, Darryl, I knew him when he was a kid growing up, and his father real well, and didn't see him a whole lot, but he really struggled through about a 9-month period last year. He had a gallbladder removed. He diagnosed with diabetes. He had a heart attack. And then he got fired, and all that was within a period of 9 or 10 months.
yeah, he said, I wish I could have taken a redshirt year from coaching. And they named the practice field after him in Denton, and he said, and I don't even get to go on in. He's got a terrific attitude, and glad to see his health is certainly a much better shape here, and he's really enjoying the opportunity to work under Brent Guy. And call the plays out at Utah State. Brent says, we're lucky to have a guy who's got Division I coaching experience as our offensive coordinator. Division I head coaching experience, I should say. Jackson drilled that pass to Robinson. Robinson came in 10th in career receptions and yardage, and 6th in touchdowns on the Utah State Aggie career charts. He gets 13 yards on that pickup. Kevin Robinson, a senior from Fresno.
Very good execution here, and Darryl is finding some spots in that Oklahoma defense where, if it's executed properly, the receiver will have a few yards, and the ball's thrown well, and both of those things happen.
Came in their leading receiver, 8 for 122 and 1 touchdown. Did not scored a TD today. It's 48-3. Not much happening on that play as Lofton puts a stop to it all.
You know, I'm not sure. I don't think we have seen one of Oklahoma's best defensive players, Gerald McCoy, number 93. I haven't seen. He was the National Player of the Year, or National Top Defensive Lineman, coming out of high school out of Oklahoma City. And he broke a hand, Bill, last week, and I think that that could be the reason we haven't seen him.
Yeah, he's been through a lot of tough times here recently, and they expected he might be able to play, but again, we're not sure, but they might have just held him out once they had control of the game and not have to use him here today. Interception, Lofton. He'll score unless one man can get it. No. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Curtis Lofton with the INT and the TD.
Well, Lofton is known for spending a lot of time in the film room. Bill, that looked like a play that he sniffed out. And he showed a lot of athleticism on that, didn't he? Because he's up to around 250 pounds.
He didn't motor like it. Well, we saw Brent Venables chewing on him after that 4th and 1 quick kick. I don't know what that was about, but probably going back. Is that good enough, Coach? Does that make up for it? And the point after by Hartley. And no good. This is his 2nd of the season. And the Sooners lead at 54-3 with 4:09 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Nice break on the ball, and that's a ball that is difficult to catch, and it's also difficult to keep your balance. And Lofton out of Kingfisher does a great job of both. You know, Hartley now has missed the 2 extra points, as you mentioned, and, you know, he's sitting there going, man, I'm a Grozer guy, and then I should be a finalist and maybe win this thing. He's that good. A lot of it has to do with the execution, the snap and the hold, and I don't think that that one was perfect.
Well, and the other thing is that even when you grade that, particularly this year, with the kickoffs being moved back to the 30, those touchbacks and those type of things and your net distance and all of that stuff, I think is going to make a big play, because it's going to be a lot more than just how'd you do in your field goals and your extra points, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. He had kicked 6 out of, I think, 21 kicks out of the end zone coming into this ball game, and he's kicked a couple out here, 2 or 3, and he says that he could kick more out. Sometimes they kick it high to certain players to keep from giving good opportunities, or a ball like that. Well, that one gets through the Utah State men, but that one should have been picked up. And so there are different things you do on the kickoff. He is a huge weapon for Oklahoma.
45 yards officially on that return for the TD by Lofton, and Oklahoma will set up their defense now at the 20, as that one kind of knuckled on him a little bit, floated and danced through to the end zone. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Utah State.
Go Sooners! Go Sooners!
The Aggies will bring Leon Jackson III back onto quarterback. 3 wideouts to the left. They hand it off to Marsh, the freshman tailback. It's a yard or 2. John Williams, a senior out of Houston, makes the stop for Oklahoma. Second down and 8. You talked a little bit about the depth, and some people see somebody like Williams, where he's a starter. Well, the way they rotate guys defensively, it's a little bit different deal here, right?
Well, they're playing 3 or really 4 defensive ends. They stick with their linebackers for the most part. But one of the luxuries that Oklahoma has this year is that, and in most years, because everything starts with run defense. I mean, you got to have stuff at the back end. You really have to have stuff at linebacker, a little bit everywhere, but you really got to have those down linemen. And the Sooners have guys they rotate in with Corey Bennett, DeMarcus Granger, and Stephen Coleman, and Gerald McCoy, and even Taylor getting in there. They're all fresh.
There is McCoy. We were talking about earlier with that broken hand, you see it bandaged up. It's 3rd down and 6 now for the Aggies at the 24. Jackson In trouble, hit as he fires, and it goes out of bounds on the OU sideline. Good pressure as Darian Williams was coming on. Deion Jackson III out of Long Beach, California has had a tough day with that Oklahoma pressure.
Pressure gets after him and Darian Williams on the back end, as you mentioned, number 41, and you kind of feel sorry for a guy like Williams because just guys get through there on the left. They couldn't hold up. But Darian Williams is a guy who they had tons of hope for and has played really well here at Oklahoma, but he had a little bit of an off-season injury, and all of a sudden the guys that get in front of him, he has trouble finding playing time.
And the return by Dominique Franks brings it near the 47-yard line after Jackson's punt. Jackson passing-wise, 9 of 14 for 65 yards against the stout OU defense that has held the Aggies to 131 yards of offense here with 2:39 to go in the third. Well, Oklahoma with Sam Bradford's performance today. Different quarterbacks have led them to each of their championships, and who knows what will follow for Bradford. But Heupel, Hibble, White, and Thompson. And one of the things Bob Stoops is proud of, that whoever's back there, they adjust. And here is Brown getting the handoff from Nickel. And he rolls for a first down carry. Takes it down near the 37-yard line. And Dean, for our Utah viewers who may not be aware, it was a three-headed deal, right, to start with this year quarterback. And Nickel, Joey Halsey, the junior college transfer, and Sam Bradford. And the decision was made about a week and a half before the opener. And Bob Stoops said everybody wanted to know who's going to be, who's going to beat. He goes, the competition was so good. He goes, I wasn't trying to tease people. It was that difficult to make a decision. Tells you how good these guys are.
Yeah, it really does, because I know Nickel has a ton of upside. And he's good at this type of thing. He's good at getting out on the run. That is a bad pass there, but he is really a threat. And Joey Halsey, you talk about Sam Bradford leading the nation with pass efficiency. The only guy he's behind is Joey Halsey. He has a better number, but doesn't have enough numbers.
Halsey's just 5 of 6 for 100 yards in the TD. He had one last week against Miami when it was 2 of 2. And there he is, number 15. He's from Huntington Beach, California. But it's Nickel's opportunity now with 2:08 to go in the third. 2nd and 10, the ball on the 37. Moses Madu, the tailback, doesn't get an opportunity as they jump the gun. It looked like Cumbie coming across the line. They're number 5. And sort out the laundry once again.
Offside. Unabated quarterback.
Look at this. Oops.
And guys have to really be gambling. You have to really feel like you're tuned in to do something like that. I didn't play much defense, but I've never understood why that happens.
Well, and it's not like they knew his cadence. This is about his 5th play. It's 2nd down and 5. And a loose football. Aggies saying they've got it, and they do. Utah State will on pile with a football. And I think Nathan Royster, number 94, got a congrats from head coach Brent Guy. Wow. Like Miley had taken off early.
Well, the defender jumps and the quarterback jumps. That's the thing you can't do. And, that's the thing about a guy that hasn't had many snaps. That time, Nickel pulled out. And just because a defensive guy flinches, you cannot flinch.
So the Aggies get it back 1st and 10. Their own 32-yard line. And McCormick is back in as the quarterback. And nothing happening. Reynolds just hog ties and brings down the running back as Dervin Spite, 5'9", 201 redshirt freshman. No opportunity thanks to the play of Reynolds. He's had quite a game here today.
He has. Don't think he knocked down a shoulder. It looks like he's a little bit banged up, and he has been banged up during his career. He's really bothered, it looks like.
Staying on for the moment. 2nd and 12 for Utah State. McCormick in trouble. Goes right up the middle and then dives over as Nick Harris hit him low. And they'll mark his progress at the 38-yard line.
Gosh, Oklahoma had this one covered so well. They had the pressure from the middle initially and then on both flanks. But then the gap in the middle opened up. And that's a nice move by McCormick. He was able to, he didn't see anything on the outside, to the left, didn't to the right, didn't risk a throw. Put it up inside for a few.
3rd and 4. McCormick. And it is complete, but shy of the first down. Maybe fortunate to get back to line of scrimmage, and Reynolds make the tackle. Let's go down to Emily.
Well, guys, Jason McCormick is playing in his first college game in 3.5 years. He signed with Utah State, then went on a 2-year Mormon mission, came back redshirted, and got his first playing time today. Daryl Dickey told him this week, I'll put you in the game in the 4th or 5th series unless you make me mad, then I'm going to start you. I guess he didn't make him mad.
He's 23 years old, so with many of these players, of course, on Mormon missions, that it becomes an old team, even if it's not experienced. And a hold up here. We'll find out. They sorted up with just 4 seconds to go in the quarter. It's 4th and 5. Blakeman, I think he just wanted a little more TV time, make sure everybody saw him there. We identified him, the referee. So that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Oklahoma led in 14-zip after 1, 38-3 at the half, and now 54-3 after 3 in Norman. It's been quite a show by the Sooners, Bradford and crew. We'll be back. Oklahoma entering the 4th quarter in control, 54-3 over Utah State, and on a 4th and 5 from the Aggie 37. Utah State set to punt it with the quarterback Jackson back there. Stands on his own 22. Dominic Franks to return. He is on the 20, about the 19, escapes 1. Franks to the 30, got a little wall, cuts it back, 45-50. And out of bounds on the Utah State 45-yard line. Again, there you see that depth for Oklahoma in all phases of the game as Dominic Franks, nicely done.
Dominic Franks gets his shot back there. Reggie Smith has just been worn out because Oklahoma has forced so many punts early this year, and he's done a great job of fielding kicks. I don't know that he's gotten as many yards as Bob Stoops would like. So they're looking at him, and they looked at DeMarco Murray earlier on a kick.
36-yard return of a 43-yard punt that time by Franks. And here is Nickel and crew now and hands this one off. And this is Madu across to the 32-yard line, maybe the 31. Was this Madu, the 5'11 freshman from here in Norman? The fans love him too, as Odong made the tackle.
Yeah, Madu's a really good kid, and here it'll be blocked well, but Madu has the ability to bounce outside, and he's played on this field before. Norman High School used to play all their games here, but they don't anymore, but they do play their skirmish between inner city rival Norman North here.
Well, 14 yards on that carry. He came in with 13 for 99, 7.6 per carry. Had that 55-yarder and a TD. 1st and 10. Nickel and Cheney couldn't find a handle there as that ball was drilled to him.
Well, there's an example of why it can be difficult to be the backup quarterback. I mean, I know that if this ball goes to number 4, Malcolm Kelly's going to catch it easily, and he'll probably score a touchdown. But Cheney, who's never really quite lived up to his billing, not only doesn't score, you see, here's some footsteps there. He drops the football.
2nd and 10 at the 31. And the handoff to Madu again. Gets to the 29-yard line. Cumbie makes the stop. Do you what's your thought as the Big 12 gets closer to conference play on what we've seen so far a couple weeks of non-conference play? And folks didn't hear Iowa State knocking off Iowa today. Oklahoma State got pounded last night by Troy.
Well, let's watch this one.
3rd and 8. Nickel and high snap handles it. And then looking for Tennell and couldn't quite connect there.
Part of the problem there was it was a high snap. It threw him off rhythm, and he threw a poor ball. But again, Bill, that's an example of not having a guy who's going to give you a good snap. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, and the kid has had a few things mess up on him. And Oklahoma at Tulsa this next coming week, and then at Colorado before the big one down in Dallas.
The Sooners won't be back home for that Missouri game October 13th, about a month from now. 4th down and 8. This one a little bit behind Cheney, got a hand on it and falls incomplete near the 20-yard line.
Even though there are some excuses for the quarterback here, it might show that Bradford's a pretty good player, huh?
Yeah, I think so. His 3 TD performance proved that again today. We'll be back in a moment. Oklahoma fans and cheerleaders, a lot to cheer about today with the Sooners 54-3 leaders over Utah State. Number 3 national ranking. Looking more and more legit, certainly by today's performance. Put it to a lesser opponent. And Utah State running it here on a 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. It's McCormick keeping the football.
3rd defensive end, Jeremy Beal in, and I know Bob Stoops was pleased in one of the earlier games this season when some of the backups got in and played well, but this is the time of game where things can get sloppy, and Oklahoma will want the backups to stay fundamentally solid and play good technique.
Beal, redshirt freshman out of Carrollton, Texas. 2nd and 6 from the 33. Not much doing that time for Dervin Spite as he stopped by Lewis Baker.
You know, you were asking about the Big 12 Conference, and clearly it hasn't been what it's been in the past this year or last year. Still, Oklahoma and Texas, and we'll see what Nebraska does tonight, are teams who can play with anyone. And if those 2-3 teams can be really good this year, that makes up for a lot of the bottom feeders, and there are several bottom feeders, it looks right now.
McCormick, took a beating that time as a couple of defenders converged on him, and he paid for those precious yards.
Yeah, the only problem with that, and you really don't know it as a defensive guy, Bill, but the quarterback's running north and south, and in this case north, and you know, he's hit well behind the marker. He wasn't going to make a 1st down, but he gets hit so hard from behind that actually the defender pushes him far enough to make the 1st down.
Cordero Moore is one that made the stop. 1st and 10 is being mentioned now, and he's in trouble again and goes down as hovering over him Lindy Holmes, the junior out of Dallas, Texas. Also Beal was there.
Lindy, you get a tackle for loss if you just kind of get to him before he gets on the ground. You get credit.
Looks good in the stat sheet. High snap gave him no chance. Second and 16 from the 34-yard line. And again, the Aggies quarterback McCormick. Davis just missing on the diving attempt. Beal slammed into him as he released the football, and Oklahoma has really turned up the heat. Well, Oklahoma, they talk championships here, and if you take a look back at the tradition of Oklahoma in the modern era, the wins, the percentage, and weeks of number 1.
That's pretty stout right
That's
there.
pretty amazing, and so's that bottom number, too, of 7 national titles and a couple of near misses in the last few years, and certainly they're being mentioned, and whether that's fair or not, that's the talk with this year with LSU and Southern Cal. Most people put OU near that caliber. 3rd and 13. Wow, another big hit as McCormick paying dearly for keeping the football. And Robinson made the tackle that time. Lamont Robinson.
You know, the one guy who's not getting in is Mike Reed at linebacker yet, and here you see the speed of the backups. And that's one thing the coaches, I think, had mentioned to you, wasn't when you look at Oklahoma, you just see speed.
Utah State, we talked to the 2 coordinators and, of course, Brent Guy, and each coach individually said what sticks out. It was recording speed, speed, speed. I mean, everywhere, offense, defense, special teams, bench, everything. On a 4th and 14, the punt to Franks. Steps back near the 12. Cuts right up the middle, the 30. Franks again, a flag is thrown, 45. And tackled out near midfield is Dominic Franks.
You know, it's amazing. This may very well be a block in the back, but there's an official on the 15-yard line. He was about 10 yards to the left of the block, and this flag came in about 5 seconds later from midfield. But Marcus Walker there, 24, called for a block in the back, and it comes all the way back.
During the return, illegal block in the back gets a return to 24. Half the distance penalty to the goal line, 1st down.
Bob Stoops letting Walker, the senior out of Waco, Texas, know what he thinks. Bobby Jack right there. That nullifies a 36-yard return by Franks.
Doesn't matter in a game like this, will matter in a game later down the year. You can't have those mistakes, and that was unneeded anyway. He didn't need that block.
But it doesn't nullify Frank's impact on the coaching staff, wondering who their return guy is going to be.
Well, good point. Very good point.
Stay with us. Timeout called with 9:14 remaining. All Oklahoma. Oklahoma 54, Utah State 3 is clock at 9:14 here in the 4th quarter. And that young Sooner fan hadn't lost any interest. As Oklahoma will have it 1st and 10 from their 7 to start this possession. Nickel hands it off to Madu, trying to get a little running room to the outside. Utah State able to hang with him this time as Cumbie leading the way. Also, Darrell Fields in on the tackle, 47.
Corey Brandon, Rob Moore, Brian Simmons, a bunch of guys in there. Some of them are good enough to be starters, but there's several guys in there that have not played very much, and you can tell a little bit of a drop-off there.
And again, for Oklahoma, and every team with a parity in college football, if you suffer a key injury here or there, can be a huge blow. So Sooners getting valuable experience for these backup players here. Utah State also in the same situation. The stakes a little higher for OU these days as Clark makes the tackle on the running back here. And it's out at the 10-yard line now. It'll be a 3rd down and 7.
We talked during the commercial break that fans back in Logan, you can't be pleased with the scoreboard, but you have to be pleased with the continued effort from Brent Guy's bunch here today.
And that may not mean much to some folks, but it should, because when you are getting whipped like that on the scoreboard, giving that kind of effort is not easy. Nickel sandwiched and hit hard, just shy of the 15 and shy of the 1st down.
He'll look at that tape and realize, had he made his mind up and continued to go north instead of kind of hesitating, he would have picked up the 1st down. Much easier said than down there as a true freshman. Kid did come in the spring. He competed real well for the starting job, but Bradford had already been here and gotten in some valuable experience last year, practicing daily against an outstanding Oklahoma defense, and had quite an edge.
Mike Nall will have the first punt of the day for Oklahoma, standing on his goal line, and he booms it. Robinson at the 39, and spins out of 2 more tacklers, 45, 50. Robinson, most of his yardage side to side. Did a pretty nice job of escaping things, though. And a timeout on the field with Oklahoma. 54, Utah State 3. Welcome back, Oklahoma 54, Utah State 3. Those diehards stay into the finish here. Many of the 80,000 plus have headed for the exits, but Oklahoma on defense now is Utah State. Sam Bradford, who had another impressive day with 3 TD passes and taking a seat, or stand if it will. And right up the middle, Turbin picks up a first down to the 37-yard line. Robert, freshman out of Fremont, California. Lenny Holmes makes the tackle after 11-yard pickup.
This is where Oklahoma's defensive staff and players really want that backup bunch to preserve a shutout in terms of touchdowns. But, you know, you can only do what you can do. You can't run back in and start.
First and 10 at the 37. Cormick hands to Marsh, lost the football. Oklahoma's picked it up and still on his feet for just a moment.
My goodness, why would he pick that ball up? Pretty good snag, though.
Yeah, great hands that time by is it Cordero Moore? Yeah. For 89.
That was a fumble without being hit. That was one just going in the breadbasket.
This would be an unforced error. Moore, 6'2", 297, a sophomore from Mesquite Horn High School down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it's Oklahoma. And the Sooners give Joey Halsley a shot now, it appears, as the third of the OU quarterbacks comes on. And Aggies helping off the injured back, Curtis Marsh, their talented freshman, and not a good sign. You know, I don't know if we mentioned earlier, the Aggies without Antonio Taylor, their leading tackler from last year and this year, has been suspended for the rest of the season. And they also lost Ben Childs, defensive tackle, with a broken leg. And depth, as you mentioned, Dean, is not a strong suit in Utah State right now. So injuries just such a huge impact at every level. And here's Madu. He's tackled near the 39-yard line.
Madu doesn't have the luxury of a lot of those frontline backs of having a crack and not being hit for a few more yards downfield, but he's really a good one. Halsley coming in, and he's a guy that may lag behind the other two in the tangible department, but his intangibles are really good. Smart, leads, and does a bunch of really good things. It's just a matter of who's going to be, and can that guy be good enough if Bradford goes down?
Second down and 7 now from the 39. Halsley hands off to Madu, spins, and there's a good point of what you're just talking about. He actually makes a pretty decent run.
Oh, he makes a good run. Yeah.
Nothing to show for it as Derek Cumbie gets the tackle.
It reminded me of some Barry Sanders runs where, remember the Lions? Oh, Lord. And another situation where if you're the Oklahoma staff, especially if you're Joey Halsley, you say, I've been practicing way too long for you guys to call a running play here or a short pass, give you a chance to do it. And, you know, I know they're very hesitant about doing things like that.
Othan and Cheney go wide left. Let's see what they do come up with on a 3rd and 10. As Halsley, they come after him. He dumps it off, and here's Madu. Now Madu with a little bit of room to operate, and you see he almost has the first down.
This is complete to Moses Madu.
This gives you an idea of his talent.
He was tackled by Nathan Royster.
Oklahoma, Bob Stoops rarely would not go for this. Nice swing pass, catches Madu in stride, makes the first man miss, makes the second man miss, and almost gets the first down yardage. And they marked that back a little farther than I thought. I thought it was going to be up there near that first down marker, and I was about to say Stoops always goes for it there, but wouldn't hear it and punt it. But it's a little farther back. And the punt is certainly the right thing to do.
That play, though, gives Oklahoma 602 total yards of offense for the day. And they'll punt it away. No snap, and Null handles it all right.
Been a bad game for Oklahoma special teams today. They have been a tremendous unit, but not a good day today.
Well, let's take a look back. We've had some flashback fun here today, and we go back to a guy who got it all going here at Oklahoma with Bud Wilkinson era back in the 50s. And David Baker, a little TD run, and next up, some Tommy McDonald to Clendon Thomas. And little razzle-dazzle. Game ain't changed that much, has it?
Well, I tell you, Bud did some incredible things. Came in at 40 years of age. He retired, or he was the athletic director at 40. I think he left in his when he was very, very young. But, Bill, they won 77 straight conference games.
Incredible.
77.
That figure, you talk about the 47 game winning streak, but when you talk about 77 conference games in your league,
yeah,
I don't care what league you're in, when you're in that where people know you best, that is an amazing accomplishment. Of course, the Sooners, with all of their hardware, yeah, they need another shelf or two, don't they, over in the Switzer Center with 4 Heismans leading the way in those most prestigious of trophies. It's 2nd and 14 for McCormick here for Utah State. Completes the pass to number 21, Spate, and Holmes making the tackle.
We threw out one happy birthday to a player earlier. Got to throw one out to Merlin Olsen.
Yeah, maybe the most famous of Utah State's alums, right?
Rams #1 pick, and his birthday today. Hall of Famer, and he was an Outland Trophy winner.
The Aggies have their own tradition. Down in the Cornell Green wasn't too bad. It came out of Utah State. We were talking about off the air earlier.
Played basketball and football.
One guy just trying to rebuild and get it going there. Here is McCormick. On the run and fires and picked off. Intended that time for Bowman. But Brian Jackson gets the INT.
Brian Jackson came in a really highly recruited player. They thought that he would emerge and be one of the key players in the secondary for Oklahoma. He hasn't quite gotten there because of such stiff competition, but he still can play. That's a nice break on the ball.
So Oklahoma with 2:35 gets it back. Jackson 6'1", 190, a sophomore from DeSoto, Texas. And Halsley will be the quarterback again. 1st and 10 at the 35 of the Aggies. Madu protecting the football down to the 31-yard line. Picks up 4.
The band is sounding bloodthirsty. They're really getting after that little, you know.
They're going, hey, we're not leaving early, and if we're still playing, we want to inspire our guys to more points.
Hey, they're not going to get it because they won't throw for it, I don't think. And Brent Guy asked his guys to play hard. That's the way he wants to go the rest of the year. They've done that here in the second half.
2nd and 6. Madu shedding tacklers. Breaks through to the 20, the 15. As soon as my partner said they won't. And again, I mean, everybody in the building pretty well knows where the ball's going, including the Utah State defense.
Yeah.
And look what Madu and friends make out of that. Give him his linemen some credit, obviously, but a heck of a run for 17 yards.
Yeah, it is. He cuts this one back against the grain, stiff arm. He's already made 3 missing. That's why they really like this kid. And he's got some potential, and folks, he's 4 on the depth chart right now. Probably isn't going up this season.
Tulsa getting a preview, watching this, going, oh, wait a minute. Hurricane has Brigham Young today before they host Oklahoma this next week.
Brent Guy appreciating the class from Bob Stoops, just taking a knee right now.
Headsets off, and this one is pretty much done with 102 and counting, and the Sooners 54-3.
Kevin Wilson, we had mentioned earlier about doing such a good job. Brent Guy can't be displeased with what happened in the second half.
Oklahoma led it at the half 38-3. Ends up with a 54-3 win. That last score, of course, Lofton's 45-yard interception return. So, and again, yeah, OU's played vanilla here toward the tail end, but the Aggie effort has indeed been there. That's something they can't take away from that. And they have some players who are going to get better. And when they get back in the WAC, there are some very good teams, but there's also some bottom feeders in there that they're going to have an opportunity to take care of. 3rd and 14 with the clock moving. football. And Oklahoma stays unbeaten at 3-0. A resounding 54-3 whipping of the Aggies of Utah State as Brett Guy gives Bob Stoops a pat on the back and a congratulations. And the Aggies dropped to 0-3 after losing to Wyoming and UNLV prior to this. They go home to host San Jose State next weekend, and the Sooners travel up I-44 to meet the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Sam Bradford was outstanding again today in his limited time. 3 touchdown passes. OU ends up with total offense of 617. Kelly a couple of more TD receptions. He's got 7 now through 3 games. And the Sooners also get their 3rd longest run from scrimmage today on a 92-yarder from Murray. And let's go down to Emily Jones with Bob Stoops.
Coach, let's start with defense. I asked you headed into halftime how your defense could improve. You said don't allow a field goal. They didn't. Pitch a shutout in the second half. Pleased with their performance?
They played well. You know, they really, Coach Dickey and his offense, they do a lot of motioning and shifting, and you really got to be disciplined to stop all of their run games. So I was real pleased that we were able to do that.
Offensively, Sam Bradford, another great outing. He does throw his first interception, which I guess it had to happen at some point, but a great day for him and his supporting cast as well.
It was. Sam's done a great job managing his part of the offense and doing what he's asked to do, and he's getting supported by a lot of good players that are making plays around him.
These victories in these first 3 games have been so lopsided. Do you feel like, though, you're still able to learn enough about your team as you head into Big 12 play?
All you try and do is play the best you can every game. So my guys, they've had a great focus, a great attitude in how they're playing. So how can you complain about that? So, I'm pleased. We just got to keep building on it.
All right, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Appreciate your time. Bill, send it back up to you.
All right. Thanks, Emily, and thanks to Coach Stoops. Bradford, 19 of 26, 255 yards, Dean. 3 touchdowns. Did get picked off for the first time in his young career here, but he certainly set the tone once again today, and the running game was just as strong. And we'll go back to Emily. She's got another interview.
That's right. Joaquin Iglesias, first touchdown of the season. How nice was it to get in the end zone?
It was good. I mean, I've been trying, like the first game especially, I landed on like the 2 and the 1 yard line. So it's kind of relieving to get that first one out the way.
Everybody talks about the play of Sam Bradford, and rightfully so. He's playing so well, but coaches are so quick to point out the supporting cast, all you guys at the skill positions up front on the offensive line. What have you learned about him as a quarterback, and what have you learned about this unit as a whole?
I mean, as for Sam, he's just relaxed out there, and he's making the plays that we need him to make, and he's looking good out there. And as a whole, we're just clicking right now, and it seems like everything's going right for us, and we're just going to try to carry it on every week.
The victories have been so lopsided for you guys, but do you feel like you're able to learn enough about yourselves as you head into Big 12 play, even though the margin of victory has been so great for you?
Coaches always talk about just taking it week to week and just work on yourself. So it's not really about our opponents. We feel like it's just about us, so we just try to come out there and take every game and just trying to get better every week, and I think we're doing that so far.
All right, Joaquin, congratulations on the win. We do appreciate it. They have Tulsa next week on a short week. It'll be Friday night, Bill.
All right, yeah, not much time to prepare for the Golden Hurricane, and they'll give them a whole different look than what they've seen, more like North Texas, but a much better ball club.
Yes, and they've got a quarterback in Paul Smith who played so well out here on this field a couple of years ago that he has the respect of the University of Oklahoma. That game won't be a cakewalk. This one could have been a much bigger score had Sam Bradford stayed in and had Bob Stoops wanted to push one in. But that's the way you should do it. These other kids need to have a chance to play. Oklahoma, I think, Bill, got out of another game unscathed. So I think injury-wise, they're in pretty good shape.
That is always a big plus. Let's send it right back down to Emily with more interviews.
Well, guys, I'm going to take a little credit for this one. I just told Curtis we talked about him in the open, and I highlighted what he had done thus far this season, and he gets today his first interception return for a touchdown. How nice was it for you?
It was amazing. I mean, I just did coach gave a great call, and I read my read, and he threw it right to me, so I had to score.
You didn't buy it on the play fake, isn't that right?
No, when they run a split flow, I'm supposed to get to the flats, and my call led me to there, and I just picked it off.
Talk about just how this defense as a whole is playing. You guys have been dominant in every game you've played this season. You sense something special going on?
Yeah, I definitely sense something special going on. Every day we go out there and play. We're just trying to get better and push towards a goal, and that's get to a national championship. And each game we play, we just got to come out and execute all the plays and play real hard.
Talked about it a little bit earlier, a short week this week. You guys have got a Friday night game at Tulsa. It'll be your first road trip. Just talk about, the mindset heading into that one. It's also kind of a rivalry with it being close and playing on the road and on a short week, maybe a little bit of adversity. You guys haven't had a whole lot of it this year.
I really wouldn't call it adversity. I mean, we just got to have a tough mental set and go out there and be ready for anything they throw at us and be ready to play.
All right, Curtis, congratulations on the win. Best of luck next week. Curtis Lofton, his first career interception returns for a touchdown, guys.
Thanks, Emily. And, yeah, he's certainly smart enough to give credit to his coach, too, who'd been chewing on him a little bit earlier. It shows that the intelligence of these players, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like those guys, though, who go straight to football talk. He said, I did my reads, I went through my reads, and I was in the right place at the right time. They're focused in on what they're supposed to do. This guy's a really good football player.
Yeah, no question about that. Congratulations to Lofton, all the Sooners, and good luck to Utah State down the line as the Sooners win it here 54-3. We'll be back with a final word in just a moment. 54-3 is the final. The third-ranked Oklahoma Sooners take care of the Aggies of Utah State. We welcome you back here to the University of Oklahoma. Bill Land and Dean Blevins with you up top. And Bob Stoops pretty well said it, Dean. They took care of business here today. And I don't want to use the term professionalism of this team, but that's about what they are starting to resemble.
Well, it was a business venture, if you will. I was going to say business trip, but it wasn't much of a trip, but it was all business. You come into a game favored by 46 points. You know what's supposed to happen. That's what it does happen. Oklahoma was able to do, as we mentioned real early in the game, get Bradford out and get the other guys in there. And by doing that, you get to rest your guys and you get to keep them healthy. So I think today was a good week for Oklahoma, but it was one that you could tell that they were emotionally not really as into as the other two.
Well, just how good can this team be? Because I know we need to weather the competition, but 79 points against North Texas, they honestly could have had 100 if they wanted to. Last week, they throttle, I still think, a good athletic team in Miami. And today, they get over 600 yards in offense when they've really closed it down by middle of the third quarter.
You know, I always say it's still too early to know. I think you have to step up and play some guys, and I think that Colorado may give you resistance up on the road. Oklahoma has to now get out and go on the road, as you mentioned. So I think we're going to know more then, and Tulsa will pose some problems. But then it always seems to come down to what happens in Dallas, and we'll see if Texas can even get there undefeated. But regardless whether they're undefeated or not, that game, and I've mentioned it now a half dozen times, I've been there, I know what it's about, and Oklahoma will have to fight its guts out to win it.
But when you take a look at things overall, the Sooners certainly are on target, on pace to meet all those expectations, and those are lofty, but people certainly have seen what this team's capable of.
Yeah, they've got the talent. The only question coming in was Bradford. You saw today what all he can do.
All right, and that's about all we can do for this one, folks. Hope you enjoyed it here today as the Sooners take care of Utah State 54-3, the final. For Dean Blevins, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, this Bill Land saying so long from the University of Oklahoma. Thanks for watching. Again, the final score, Sooners 54, Utah State 3.